WIBC HD2, HD3, Indianapolis.
Monday on the wake-up call. What else stood out from the Colts and their mini camp? Where are we at NBA Finals-wise? Did the Fever win a game? We'll recap it all. Everybody have a great weekend.
And here we go.
What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
Richardson gonna take off and run. He's in there! Touchdown! I-N-D-Y! Outside give to Taylor. Stretching it out. He's at the 5, and he walks in untouched. Jonathan Taylor. Turner wants to do more damage, and he does.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it! Hits it!
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, if it sounds a little bit windy where we are, it's a little bit windy where we are on Morse Reservoir with our deck tour stop at Wolfies on Morse. I cannot wait for this as well. Now, we will adjust, and I'm going to adjust all these old-fashioned kind of engineering ways that I adjust to get out of the wind is to put my head pointed in the different direction. So if you're watching via the AAA Membership Lounge on YouTube Live and you see my head kind of pointed in a different direction and you wonder, what is this clown looking at? It is for me to stay out of the wind because it is very windy out here today. Really, in general, it is windy all over central Indiana, but it is windy out here at Wolfies. However, it is still spectacular out here on the back deck. Deep Eddy Vodka brings us to you again. It is yet another party deck tour stop, and this one is going to be incredibly special because we've got a lot of guests, and we have stuff to give away. My friends Matt and Matt from AAA, Hoosier Motor Club, they're going to drop by. They're going to give you a chance to win some Chesney tickets coming up a little bit later on. Rick Venturi, who lives about 2 minutes away from here, is going to join us at 4:30, and we'll take your questions. I'll lob my questions at him as well, and we shall figure out exactly what's going on with the Colts. Anthony Richardson, the shoulder, throwing left-handed, and all the stuff that really doesn't matter in late July and to start the season, but we prioritize it right here in June, and what the hell, you might as well. We'll do that with Rick Venturi coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Hashtag Ask Pat. That's Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden, will join us with your questions, and he is offering up I want to call it the meatometer. I think it's called the meter. The meter, it tells you exactly the temperature of your meat. And I think we all need that. Whether we're just doing the straight-up grilling out or you're smoking your meat, you always need to know exactly what is going on with the temperature inside your meat. And this is the absolute best to do that. So that's the prize. And what I need you to do, hashtag Ask Pat. I need you to send me those questions. We'll ask Pat that coming up at 3:30 and get you into yet another segment of hashtag Ask Pat. The ladies of Channel 13, Lindsay Monroe and Gina Glaros, will join us again coming up a little bit later on in the show. So I cannot wait for that. Chris Hagan of Fox 59 is on his way. And these are all people that will be out here with us live. Now, James, back to the studio quickly. Is Mike Wells on the schedule for today? Is Wells in at 4 o'clock?
Yes, he is.
Wells is in at 4 o'clock from ESPN Radio, but I think that's just about it in terms of those that aren't live today. So what I mean by this, if you got time, and believe me you do, if you got time, just go ahead and get out here. Join us on the back deck at Morse and have a great time with us, too. The free samples are flowing. We don't have Brent Holverson here today. We have Jim Romanek. He is the legendary Romy who's going to join me coming up in a minute. So the samples will be flowing. You've got great food. I think Scott Wolf is going to join us, the owner of Wolfies as well, coming up a little bit later on. We are loaded up for this show. Again, Morse Reservoir. We are near Noblesville. I will start by saying this, and I know we got some sports to get to. Yeah, there's not a lot going on right now, but we will still prioritize it. But I'm going to give all my East Side listeners and our friends a great deal of a tip of the cap because I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. It took me, I could have driven to Wisconsin, I think, in the time that it took me to drive up here. I love my East Siders. And, see, I'm just somebody that lives far on the south side in Bargersville, and I can navigate around it. But so many of you have to get through that each and every day to go to work or to get home. And I'm going to give you a lot of credit because you have to have the absolute patience of an angel, because it is an absolute brutality to get around on the east side right now. So I love you East Siders, and I don't know how long that level of construction is going to last, but about 5 minutes of it was enough for me right there. So a tip of the cap to all my friends on the east side who don't, just like me, have to deal with it maybe once in a couple of months, but you have to deal with it every single day the way that it is. And I'm also going to give credit to our road workers too, because they're out there. They know how pissed everybody gets. You know, they know that everybody wants to get home on a Friday. They know that everybody needs to get to work. Maybe you're running behind. But as they always say, give them a break. You know, chill out a little bit. Listen to us. Listen to some music. Make sure you're chill and keep everybody safe. I was absolutely floored just in the midday at the amount of backups and slow traffic that was going on. And listen, I know it's easier said than done, but chill out as much as you can chill out there. And just like I did. Hell, I left at noon today. Just give yourself a lot of extra time, because I know, again, and I experienced it for the first time today. My man J-Dog's in the house. That east side traffic is incredibly tough. All right, 239-1070 is the number. Get the Fever and the Mystics. The Fever back at it coming up later on tonight. I can't remember a time when we actually started a show with the Fever, but this is the time now with Caitlin Clark. You know, we've almost been a week since what took place on Saturday afternoon got everybody inspired just beyond us to want to talk about the Fever. So that's happening. I believe that is an Ion broadcast coming up later on tonight. That is the Fever and the winless Mystics for you. We got more in terms of the Colts to get to. Rick Venturi is going to join us coming up, as I mentioned, in the 4 o'clock hour, and he's going to answer all of my questions, all of your questions. It is going to be a fantastic day for that. You got game one of the NBA Finals last night. It's funny. This is what I thought of, and this doesn't win you anything. This doesn't get you a trophy in the closet. This doesn't, J-Dog, get us a banner or anything like that. Nobody's looking for it. But what I do want, and I mention this as we get further and further away from this season, you will have more of an appreciation for it. I want people to appreciate what the Pacers did accomplish this season. And I think you saw a Pacer team that more often than not, even in a sweep, and again, nobody's winning anything out of this. Nobody's making excuses out of this. But you saw the Pacers, even in a sweep at the hands of the Celtics, for the most part, in 3 of those games, look a hell of a lot more competitive than the Mavericks did last night. The Mavericks immediately get down 17 in game number 1 in Boston. You know, down 20-plus at the half. They whittle that down to 8 at the end of the third. And then it was like a timeout. And then immediately that thing goes back up, like a 10-0 run, something like that, back up to 18, 19, maybe it was an 11-0 run. That game was all but over and all but decided. But I told you that I do want to give credit where credit is due. It's not all about coming on here and pissing and moaning. It's not all about coming on here and griping about, well, you didn't win, so you're an automatic loser. Yeah, if you come in second, then you're the first loser. No, this is also about, even though I'm ready for this thing to spring, and spring right now, it is all about growing into what we hope is going to be a highly challenging team in the Pacers in the NBA for the next several years to come. And if you watched that game number 1 last night, you saw exactly what I was talking about. The Pacers blew it at the end of games. Dallas blew it at the beginning. And when you think about it, too, did you have kind of flashbacks of the Pacers in game number 1 of the East Finals? I mean, hell, they got down double digits just like that in a snap, but then immediately worked their way back. And you give Dallas credit where credit is due because they did come from behind. They got within 8 in the third quarter, but it never felt like that Boston was challenged. And in that series in the Eastern Conference Finals, you saw Boston get challenged in at the very least 3 of those games. And you saw the Pacers throw away because of bad decision-making, because of turnovers, because of errors, maybe even coaching errors. You saw them, they were more of the reason, because, again, you can't mess around with Boston. Boston's going to kill you on their own, but if you give them a helper, then you're surely done. And you saw that over and over by Dallas early in that game last night, and then certainly late once Boston regained that momentum that they had built early on. But I thought, at least in game number 1, the Pacers looked far more respectable in a challenge for what many felt was the best team in the NBA at the beginning of the season in Boston, far more of a challenge than what we witnessed last night. But again, I completely understand. You don't win anything from that. I mean, nobody's going to hang a banner or give a trophy. There's no trophy case for that. There's no medal for it. There's no bonus for it. But what you can look at is, again, it allows you not to be so bent out of shape on how the season ended. Because all but one, they have a season that ends in a loss. But you can, I think, further appreciate what the Pacers accomplished if you want to judge or compare what you saw last night of the Mavericks in game number 1. And we'll see if that changes. It may very well change. But Kyrie Irving has a better game. Maybe that changes. But you saw it last night. I mean, the Pacers certainly looked to be, in that Eastern Conference Finals series, much more of a challenger than what the Mavericks were last night in game number 1 of the NBA Finals. So we could talk about that at 239-1070. I brought up Danny Hurley yesterday. I don't mind it. Listen, if you're the Lakers and you're the Celtics, you're just absolutely different. You are. The Celtics went out with Danny Ainge and got Brad Stevens years ago. That was a hell of a big deal. That was a reach to college, which normally doesn't work. And then as it turned out, coaching-wise, and then certainly with his executive expertise, that has worked for the Celtics. And I think the Danny Hurley thing, if that's the direction they end up going, that will probably end up working for the Lakers. And if for nothing else, we do factor in the personality. The personality is one that does not normally mesh by NBA standards. But you know what does? The offensive output, the way that they play. The way that they play offense, that was the most impressive thing that they did in the past 2 years, and especially this past year. And going back-to-back at UConn. Offensively, it looks like a stage show. I mean, it looks like a Broadway show where everybody is in the same step, or a musical video. They're running an offense, and everybody is where everybody needs to be at that point in time. And I think, to me, that offense is relatable and transferable to the NBA. Now, I know you're going to have to deal with personalities that make a hell of a lot more money than you do as a coach, which is not the case collegiately. But I think that and success alone will, to me, be more of the bearer of positivity with that team than it will be just talking about how this guy's going to give a rip job to Anthony Davis because he might be dogging it back to the defensive end, go do some defensive slides, go do some running the lines, stuff like that. It is the offense more so than anything else that I think makes that translation there. So we'll talk about that coming up as well. And anything else you would like to hit, whether it's baseball, and certainly we've got a lot of Colts football to talk about with Rick Venturi going to join us coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Meantime, my guy sitting to my right here, actually you can't see that because I think I'm out of the picture right now. I know you may have to recheck that right now too, Dev. I can't tell if that's on right now. We're trying to give everybody a great, not just to my friend Romy right here, but a great look at Morse Reservoir.
I don't know if
Jim Romanek is here, the legend.
I'm not sure if my face is going to be
the legend.
Something beautiful.
I think your face looks fine right now.
It's all good, man. But tell you what a beautiful day. Except for this wind. This wind is brutal.
This wind is fairly brutal. I didn't know to expect it.
I didn't either.
I got all pissed off this morning. I got up and I thought, Well, wait a minute. I thought the whole weekend was supposed to be sunny, and then they dropped in some rain tomorrow. What the hell's up with that?
It's one of the only professions you can be 100% wrong all the time.
Well,
and still keep your job.
Lindsay Monroe is coming a little bit later on. We're going to have to put her feet to the fire. What the hell's going on this weekend?
I absolutely think we should, John.
No doubt about that. So Dev's going to rehook that back up. That's inside the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live. We'll get that video for you coming up in a second. But this Deep Eddy Vodka Party Deck Tour stop is on Morse Reservoir at Wolfies. Last week, we were on Geist. This week, we're on Morse. And even with the wind playing a role today, it's still incredible.
Absolutely. It's absolutely beautiful out here. Both the Wolfies have just such a massively great setup.
They do, don't they? I think they know what they're doing.
I think they do.
I think Scott Wolf knows what he's doing.
He does. But, probably the success behind Scott is his beautiful wife, Nyla, who hopefully she's going to be joining us today as well.
I like it.
So, it's just, the deck series is something that we came up with.
Yes.
And just a lot of places that people don't get to usually. Like you said, you hadn't been out here.
Well, because it's just like southern Wisconsin for me up here.
Very true. You don't get out of that south side very often.
Yeah. I get up here, man, and I get twisted up like a pretzel. I don't know why.
Well,
why is that?
It's probably because you're from the south side of Indianapolis.
I get twisted like, all right, so this is supposed to be north, but I'm really going east. Why is that? 37 is supposed to go north, and then all of a sudden it decides to go east.
I think
or then it goes west.
This was just an afterthought, man. Now it's just a hub of excitement.
I do love it up here. I do. This is a great spot. There's no doubt about that. So who came up with, that was the chair that fell. No harm, no foul. Romy, who came up with the whole Tavern Tour, Deck Tour? Because I know the Tavern Tour was a Brett Halverson, Randy Strand brainchild. Who came up with the Party Deck Tour?
That would be yours truly right
well
here.
Done. That is well done right there.
Absolutely, my friend.
I'm enjoying right now with Deep Eddy Vodka what?
You're drinking what we call in the business a John Daly.
Yes.
That'd be a Deep Eddy sweet tea and a Deep Eddy lemon topped with very little water.
There's very little in there, so you got me extra leaded right here, right?
I've got you a little bit extra leaded.
All right. Now, you're also a tremendous golf fan. We know that, just like your twin brother.
Yep.
Incredible golf fan. What we got going on in the world of golf right now that you're paying attention to? Anything?
Probably the only thing really exciting now is
the U.S. Open's on the way here the next couple of weeks.
Right? Obviously Elijah Craig, which is one of our brands, is sponsor of the PGA Tour now, which is absolutely exciting. I think probably the only really main exciting thing right now is Rory McIlroy dating Amanda Balionis. Pretty much that's the only exciting.
Who's Amanda? Who? What? Where? Amanda Balionis?
Oh, you don't know that?
No, I know.
The
I need to get updated.
absolutely beautiful blonde that interviews the golfers after every round.
Oh, I know who that is now.
You did. I knew.
They're dating, huh?
Apparently.
Wow. Well, more power to him right there.
Yeah. Other than that,
does that compromise the deal at all? If you're in, hey, here's Rory. He played really bad. Then I'm gonna roll home with him a little bit later on. Let me ask you some questions, and then we'll ask you the same questions later on tonight.
Yeah. Hey,
good for him, man.
If you look as good as her,
good.
Doesn't
good
really
for
matter.
him right there. I am curious regarding the U.S. Open. One of my favorite things regarding the U.S. Open is I go back to 1996 and the Ron Shelton written and directed classic Tin Cup.
Absolutely.
When's the last time that something like that happened, or at least in the neighborhood of that happened? Tin Cup-ish. Do you have any recollection golf-wise? I mean, I'm not just talking about Roy McIlroy coming out of West Texas and he's a driving range guy or whatever.
The only thing I can think of, John, is a young boy. Maybe he might have been a caddy named Danny Noonan, who came out of nowhere.
I love Danny Noonan, man.
Might have came out of nowhere to win that Bushwood Club Championship.
Yeah, and Brian Doyle Murray waited and judged. How long do you have to wait for that ball to fall off the edge like that? It seemed like he waited too long before it was a Noonan birdie putt that won it for he.
I believe PGA rule is, I want to say it's 30 seconds.
Is it 30 seconds?
I think it's 30 seconds.
So you blow up some of the cores and bombs and stuff, and it falls in.
Absolutely.
That's why Brian Doyle Murray was right on top of it.
He was right on top of that.
Was.
Keep it fair. Keep it fair.
All right, so we got free samples to give away later on today at Deep Eddy Vodka, right?
We sure do.
All right, so people should show up here. What's our favorite right here?
Oh, I think any of the Deep Eddy flavors are great. We got the Deep Eddy base as well. I mean, it's a little late in the day for me for a Bloody Mary, but have a Bloody Mary. We got Deep Eddy lemon. We got Deep Eddy sweet tea. Man, we've got peach.
It's weird. I'm Bloody Mary during the football season, and then I kind of cut it off a little bit.
I get it.
Or if I need a meal. If I need a meal and I'm hungry and I'm not going to eat, I go, you know what?
I can get kind of close with this Bloody Mary right here if you put enough olives in it. I'm a big olive guy.
Blue cheese stuffed olives?
I don't even need that. You just give me straight up olives.
All right, I know
straight up olives.
I know for the future orders.
All right, Romy. Romy's going to hang around. The samples are flowing. If you guys want them, let me know. Meantime, if you're not able to get up here, that is too bad. But if you want to call in, you can at 239-1070. I'll give you a little bit of a shout coming up here at the bottom of the hour. It is going to be Pat Sullivan of Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Hashtag Ask Pat. And we've got the meter that we're going to give away with that. Great backyard barbecuing experience that you're going to have that's turned even easier with the meter with Pat Sullivan of Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Hashtag Ask Pat with those questions coming up. And I heard the promo on the way because I cut the promo yesterday, and that promo is with regard to Anthony Richardson. And a lot of you have asked me, are you just going to go ahead and continue and worry about Anthony Richardson until training camp, until the first game? I'm not going to worry about it, but to say that, simply put, everything is going to be all right is something I'm not going to do either. And as I mentioned to you yesterday, I think as Colts fans, it's incredibly fair to you, and I think it's incredibly fair to me to understand that too. And yeah, I know in June, if you want to throw it left-handed and it's precautionary, and if this were October, he'd be playing or whatever was said yesterday. But when you look at it in terms of what takes place further down the road, you, because of the past around here, you're going to remain skeptical. And you know what? That is incredibly reasonable in my book. So we'll talk about that. Rick Venturi is going to join us live here coming up at 4:30. We'll go over a lot of the Colts stuff, including whether or not he believes, and this is my belief at safety, that maybe there hasn't been an error in judgment so far, but at some point you got to go out and get a veteran safety presence, don't you? I mean, I know Daniel Scott's done for the season with that Achilles injury, but we thought this before that. So at some point, you do have to go out and you have to get a veteran safety. We'll talk about that with Rick. And a lot of your questions, too, for me at JMV 1070 with Rick Venturi. You could actually call in the 4 o'clock hour and ask him as well. Chris Hagan of Fox 59. We've got Lindsey Monroe and Gina Galeros of Channel 13 going to join us a little bit later on. And as I mentioned, Rick Venturi still to come. But on the other side, are you ready? Hashtag Ask Pat. All your meat smoking, your grilling, all your backyard, your pool, your landscaping, your flowers, your vegetation, your gardening, all of that, your weeds, maybe not so much your weed, but close to it. Hashtag Ask Pat, the questions for the meter coming up. That's Pat Sullivan of Sullivan Hardware and Garden and the Home and Garden Show. That's Saturday mornings beginning at 9 a.m. on 93 WIBC. Pat Sullivan is set to join us. That is coming up next. You hear us on the outside here. It's a bit windy, but we're fighting through it. It's a great day to be on the back deck at Wolfies Morse Reservoir. The party deck tour stop with Deep Eddy Vodka finds us around Noblesville. Morse Reservoir, we're at Wolfies, again, on Morse, looking for you until we bail a little bit after 6 later on this evening. Dave Matthews Band tickets to give away. And the Olympic trials, we'll see who's going to make the Paris Olympics in swimming at Lucas Oil Stadium. A family 4-pack will give away coming up a little bit later on as well. 239-1070, email address, jmv@1075thefan.com. Inside the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, where Matt and Matt's going to give you a chance to win Kenny Chesney tickets coming up a little bit later on live here as well. And you can see us, that AAA Membership Lounge. Pat Sullivan is sitting here, and we've got Morse Reservoir in the background. Come and join us here on this incredible Friday. Around Noblesville's our location at Morse Reservoir with Deep Eddy Vodka. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
A day to remember.
I'm on drugs.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, there's Matt and Matt over there from AAA membership. We got your chance to win some tickets coming up. We're live at Morris Reservoir. Wolfies, this is a party deck tour stop with Deep Eddy Vodka. Chris Hagan of Fox 59 is kind enough to join us.
Johnny.
You all right over there? Yeah. You just went off. Now you're on.
Now you're on. Evansville trying to shock the world. They lead Tennessee 2-1 in the top of the second in Knoxville.
How'd they get those runs, Chris Hagan? Can you check to my guy, Kip Fugeris?
I'll look
Is
right
he
now.
staying in the groove?
Meanwhile, UConn struggling at Florida State 24-1.
20.
They don't have the 10-run rule in the tournament.
You can't run a clock or anything like that either, can you? Holy hell.
Looks like Cal McGinnis 2-run tater for Evansville. Put them up 2-1.
Evansville's feeling pretty good. I had Kip Fugeris on a couple of days ago. He's one of Greene County's finest, like me. I love his by the way approach.
Oh, yeah. They were
it's
talking
like,
about,
whatever happens, my toes are still tapping.
They said, from the top to the bottom, hey, we've already had a successful season. The pressure's not on us anymore. We're in a super regional for the first time ever. The heat's on Tennessee. They've had these great clubs so many times over the last few years with their kind of polarizing head coach. The heat's on the Vols, and now the Vols may score 12 runs in an inning, but right now, Evansville leads at 2-1.
That's Hagan of Fox 59, Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Of course, it is the Home and Garden Show Saturday mornings, beginning at 9 a.m., just like tomorrow morning. Hello, Pat.
How you doing, John?
Greg Rakestraw called me today and said, hey, I saw you put up on Facebook, #AskPat, but you put #AskPat.
Well,
I forgot the K.
What are
Ask
the questions?
Oh. Ask Pat. Yeah. No, it's about the meat stick thing. The meat thermometer.
Yeah.
Because my meat, I always want to know how warm my meat is. Yeah. Because sometimes it gets bunched up and one side of it's cold and the other side's warm.
I understand.
Yeah.
But the meter is a great Father's Day gift.
It is a tremendous Father's Day gift.
Because Dad does want to know how warm his meat is.
The meter is what it's called today. Yeah. How are things going, Pat Sullivan?
Things are going pretty well. We're in the middle of our big 70th anniversary celebration, so we've had a lot of events. We had some little Founders Day party last night, and then we had, our initial event last Saturday with Bobby Plump and Mars Valanda.
That was awesome, right there.
AKA Jimmy Chitwood.
Man, you could tell that they were glad that filming was over because they got sick and tired of Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
And that's so bad. I was watching The French Connection the other night, and I said, man, could you just not? Why'd you have to be such a crank on the set?
I think he just thought at the show
he thought it was
movie was going to suck.
He was just doing it for money.
Yeah.
Because he said he needed money at the time, and then once he started, he wished that they
hadn't done that.
Yeah. So it's too bad, though, man.
You know how sharp Bobby Plump is? We were
incredible.
We had him on just about 8 minutes before the top, and so he's telling stories. He says, and he gets ready to say, I want to tell you a story. And our producer back in the station said, "Hey, 1 minute to break." He goes, "I think let's wait, and I can tell you that after the break." He's 87.
Yeah, he is,
and he's listening to producers in his ear.
I mean, we all. I hope we're all like that, man.
Yeah,
John can't do that now. Much less.
I can't either. I was thinking about Hagan was I was doing two things at once. I said, Hagan, hold on a minute. I can't pick up that envelope and try to hear what James is saying at the same time. So yeah. Bobby Plump though is an incredible individual.
Yes, incredible and very, very sharp.
You guys on the road this weekend?
Yeah, we're back at our store. We're actually doing a 3-week stand at our 71st and Keystone store.
A little home stand,
because as you know, because it's on your calendar, Chris, you may want to be there too. Slaw Fest is next Saturday. A celebration of coleslaw.
Nothing like a little grossness and a little wetness with white water in the bottom of it.
It's the only coleslaw festival in the country.
I thought they had one in Los Angeles. It was called L.A. Slaw.
No, that is. I thought they had one in Daytona.
Pretty good right there.
Yeah,
L.A. Slaw.
Gonna do dad jokes all day.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Don't you think coleslaw's gross though?
No.
God.
No.
Hey, you like coleslaw? You're from the South.
Yeah.
And you don't like it either.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
It
Won't
smells
do it.
and it looks gross.
That's because you don't understand it.
Was it
because
last
you
year?
two are simpletons.
I came by last year though, and I didn't have it. And I think if you mix it up, it's like a tomato. I can have a tomato on a sandwich if I don't see it. But if I see it, I go, I don't want that. Get that thing off of there. Yeah.
I know the people that like it really, really like it.
Yeah.
I'm just not one of those people.
That's why there's I thought there was one in Daytona Beach, but turned out that was coleslaw wrestling during bike week.
I could handle that better than eating the coleslaw.
Yeah, so that was.
So 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. Tomorrow is our fundraiser for Alzheimer's Association. So if you can come out and support us, that would be great. Matter of fact, that is a barbecue lunch that is included with your donation.
I do like that. So, I was there last time, too. You had a band and everything, too, didn't you?
We got, you know what, though? As a warm-up to the band,
right?
We have the ukuleles.
And the ladies play ukuleles?
The ukuleles.
Nice.
They wanted to play for this particular event called Remembering
Rita.
Tiny
Bubbles?
Yes, they sing all the classics. The ukuleles. You will hear them tomorrow live at our store.
All right, hashtag Ask Pat, Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden, Chris Hagan of Fox 59. Again, Wolfies were up at Morse Reservoir today with Deep Eddy Vodka. Before I get to some, I got some good reads right here, too. And again, we're going for the meter. The meter is your prize if James selects you at 239-1070. We have a call for hashtag Ask Pat. Is this Denny?
It is. Now,
is this the legendary Denny Smith? This is incredible.
No,
put him on hold.
Pat said, come on, join us. He says, we'll be down at Monroe Reservoir. Just meet us there on the pier. I'm down here in Monroe County.
You're in Lake Monroe? Did you fly your little thing out down there, that little lawnmower in the air?
You can take that thing anywhere, but Sully says, yeah, I'd love to have you join me, but we'll be in Monroe. So that's
wow, you sent him down to Lake Monroe?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really want him here.
Well, Matt Godbout's out here from AAA. He came up here last week when we were at Geist. Remember?
Oh, yeah. That's right.
So we just have a habit of sending people the wrong direction.
I didn't really know where I was coming up here either. I got to say that I
get twisted around.
I actually Googled our store. I have a store 2.9 miles from here.
Do you?
Yeah.
I get twisted around like crazy up here.
I had no idea how close we were.
One night I came out of the.
He never gets up there. He doesn't know where he is. But why did you send me to Monroe County? I'd like to know.
I've already stated that, Den.
So, hey, could you fly? Could you fly your contraption today in this wind?
It's a flying lawnmower.
I flew this morning. I flew out to Crawfordsville, but the winds were jumping up to 21, 25 mile an hour.
Yeah.
And that beats you around a lot. But, yeah, I can fly it.
All right. Do you have a question for Pat? Denny Smith of the Home and Garden Show tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., 93 WIBC. Yeah. Denny, go ahead.
You accept contributions at the door for Remembering Rita.
Yes, we do. And you know what? Here's the thing, Dan. The fine folks at Schlegel Greenhouse have donated 100 planters, and these are between $60 and $75 retail planters. And with a $100 donation, you get to take one of those home with you.
Nice.
I mean, it's great.
That's really
and
cool.
So you're going to get lunch. You're going to get a planter. You'll be you'll get some entries in for our grand prize of a big green egg.
And you're going to meet the most competitive family in central Indiana. And it's not Pat.
This is true.
It's his 4 sisters. And they're going to beat the Bridge ladies.
5 sisters. 5 sisters.
5 sisters. Hey, and don't forget that Bimbo Bakery is bringing in all these free goods too, Pat.
Yeah, they're already there.
Good.
Bimbo Bakery dropped off like 8 pallets of bread products.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
chocolate stuff, some
you got
donuts.
a 3-week homestand at Sullivan Hardware.
Yes, we do.
Garden. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then Slaw Fest next week.
Slaw Fest is next week.
I will make another appearance.
Please do. I'm telling you, I think I can win you over with charcuterie slaw.
I just can't get into slaw because it's so gross. It's texture-wise, it's gross looking. It just I can't get past that.
You have a very.
Pat wanted to get into
normally if it stinks, I eat it. I just can't get past the slaw smell.
Are you willing to wrestle in it? I understand that there's slaw wrestling, and Pat wanted to bring that up to Indiana.
That's true.
That's brutal.
That's true. I think you just have an underdeveloped palate. Probably like Hagen over there.
It's fairly developed. I mean, I come from southern Indiana. I mean, my grandparents ate it all the time. Everybody around me. Every time you go to a picnic, there it is. 15 flies are landing in it.
Have you tried it with vodka? Have you tried it with
Have I tried it with vodka? I have not.
Yeah. Oh my God!
I've just tried it with various smoked meats, Denny. That's about
I'm
it.
not going to try to convince you. I mean, it's your loss, John.
Hey, Denny, man.
I'm down here in Monroe County. I'm never going to get back. You guys have a good day, okay?
You're my hero, buddy. I'll talk to you tomorrow
Denny.
morning.
All right.
I'm going to be late, Denny.
Yeah,
I'll be late for the show.
It's your place. You're always late.
It's Denny Smith. The Home and Garden Show is tomorrow morning, 93 WIBC. It's Denny Smith right there. Pat Sullivan, too. Hashtag Ask Pat. Pat, this from Paulie. So what's the best grass that I should be using in my backyard? Kentucky Blue, Bermuda, I should say, or some other crap I can't pronounce?
Yeah.
Hashtag Ask Pat.
Neither one of the first two. You want to use most of us would find that Turf Type Tall Fescue, a blend of Turf Type Tall Fescue, is the premium grass now. It is a darker blue. It's very drought resistant. You'll know people that have it because when everyone else's lawn starts to go dormant, theirs is still green. So Turf Type Tall Fescue.
Hashtag Ask Pat. This is from Justin. What can I do to safely get rid of those wood bees swarming around my porches? Now, I use a tennis racket.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, they don't sting you. They just kind of scare you. So
should I be doing that to wood bees, though? Are they nice otherwise?
No.
Because I do it. I have a really good forehand with a wood bee.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? You can get a trap, and you'd set the trap away from your living area. But those areas where the more concern is the damage they're doing to the wood on your home or whatever they're drilling into. So you can take what they do is they drill up and over, and they lay their eggs. So if you took a little cotton ball with some 7 on it and shove it up in there at night when the sun goes down.
Yes.
You will, because there's only one. There's only one carpenter bee per hole.
Is it really?
Yep.
Why is that?
It's amazing too. Like it's like a fine tool. Like this.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
I had one on my deck, and I looked at it, and it was the exact size that he needed to get in or out.
I know.
And we had to get someone, like you said, to come in there and seal it up. I almost felt bad, like his fine work of art there.
I know. You know, there's
precision.
There's domestic ones, and then there's also foreign. You know how to tell the difference?
The accent?
No, the holes are 6 millimeter.
Ha! There you go.
I can do dad jokes.
It's hashtag Ask Pat. Hey, do we find we're having a lot more flies? It's like the common house fly around this year than others. Seems like I've seen a lot more flies.
Just at your place?
Could I have some larva? Could I have a larva nest somewhere?
Are you missing any pets? Have you been down in the crawl space?
Oh, I haven't.
You should.
You got to stop leaving the slaw out.
I don't leave anything out. All of a sudden, it's got a lot of flies flying around.
I am about ready to up in this table and come after you, Hagen.
That's against the slaw up here.
Yeah.
I got them all day, people.
Boy, he's got a million of them.
When do we end up getting the infestation of when's that coming with?
Cicadas?
Yeah.
You know, we will not see what other states, adjoining states.
Really?
Like
Why is that?
You know, I don't know. That's a question for Denny Smith. But in the map, the cicada map of the double brood, we are kind of on the edge.
The Brood. That was a good
so
80s
we will,
horror movie, Hagen. The Brood.
That was good.
Yeah. So we will get some in late June, I would say, in early July. Some of them are already out. Plenty of them are out.
I haven't seen one yet.
No, I haven't either.
Something hit my windshield that was really bloody. I don't know what that was. It may have been a bird.
Probably the neighbor kid.
I don't know. It may have been a bird or something like that.
Yeah.
Anything else we should watch for here in the coming weeks here in June?
No, I would still say that if you've had fungus in the past or if you have a bluegrass lawn, get your fungicide on because it is a protectant. It does not reverse the damage. So, and once you get lawn fungus, whether it's rust, one of those, which is the most annoying because it's all over your feet, it hangs with you. So put it down right now because we got heat, we've had rain, and that is the playground of fungus.
Anything new as far as
the playground of fungus? Thanks, Chris.
Anything
John's
new?
just looking at me like,
yeah.
How do I get out of this segment?
Right over my head. I was going to ask you about smoked meats and grilling. Anything new out there that seems like every year or so you get something really new, everything jumps on? I think last year, for example, kind of felt like it was the the brick oven for pizzas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, Gosney pizzas are probably still the hottest thing we have. I will tell you, if you want the dirty on the grill industry, is that we sold companies sold so many grills during the pandemic that it is a little bit of a soft market.
Market for grills.
For grills, for whether that's Weber, whether it's Traeger, even the Big Green Egg. It is, we kind of compete with travel, with leisure.
Okay.
So, and the people are traveling like crazy. So so everybody's kind of holding the fire. I've not seen a lot of new models out as everybody tries to weather the storm until it gets back to a kind of a normal. But we probably sold 5 years worth of grills during the pandemic.
Do people still go with Traeger because it's just, hey, we'll put the meat on here and that's it? You don't have to do anything?
No, I wouldn't say that, but I do think they're still popular. Big Green Egg probably has stayed steadier than. Matter of fact, when I came up here, you talk about the watches.
Yeah.
You see a little part of the text message,
right?
And it said, right across it said, "Hey, the guy's had an accident." I'm like, "Oh hell," because that's the last thing I need is no. They had an accident with an egg. They broke the egg on.
Oh, they broke an egg, huh?
Yeah.
Man, are you insured for broken eggs?
No.
Mark Sion just saying, hey, man, too bad, so sad.
Yeah. So we actually they donated one to us for Remembering Rita, which is tomorrow starting at 10, and we'll draw the winner, and pretty sure that my name's going to be on it because
yes.
the way we'll cover that breakage.
Do you want to drink before you go?
No, I got things to do.
I guess I shouldn't ask that, right?
Yeah.
You want to drink because you're going to stay until 6?
No, I've got to get going. Bob and Tom are waiting for me.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Are they really now?
Yeah.
And no way Tom Griswold's working this late in the day. Let me tell you that right now.
This is true.
Tommy G's going to go about 3 hours in the morning and get the hell out of Dodge.
I got to go spread some weed killer at his house.
All right, I'm going to call you guys in the morning. I'm live in Bloomington tomorrow. So I'm not doing the JMV takeover or anything tomorrow.
Holy
crap, look at that.
What's going on in Bloomington? Is it,
Blake
Blake
has a party, his graduation thing for where I grew up, and his grandmothers are down there.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it's out near Lake Monroe where Denny is right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So a big deal. I got to go down there later on this evening, and so Blake's taking his DJ equipment for the grandmas. So that'll be good.
That'll be great.
Yeah, he's probably going to DJ it up for the grandmas a little bit.
He could do some damage there.
I told him, I said, I think your grandmas would like if you DJ'd up a little Freddie Fender or something like that.
Yeah.
Can you remix Freddie Fender?
Yeah.
But no.
You know what? I tell you what. I can. I got the best of the ukuleles.
Yes.
If you'd like me to.
You can remix that stuff up immediately.
I can send that to you. I'll send it
brother.
to you.
I'll call you guys in the morning.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Pat Sullivan,
Appreciate
Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Hashtag Ask Pat. Hey, Romy, let's get everybody some samples. Yes. Samples for everybody right here. Morse Reservoir.
Good luck, Chris.
And Deep Eddy Vodka brings us to you. Chris Hagan is here as well. Chris, anything you want to chat up here on the other side? How about Matt and Matt from AAA? They got Chesney tickets to give away right here. Right? You want to do that on the other side, too?
I'd love to.
Mike Wells coming up. Rick Venturi live here in the 4 o'clock hour as well. Great food and the free samples. Romy is up at the bar right now, so I would get with him because he is putting a fairly large order in right now with the barkeep. All right, that 239-1070, Morse Reservoir, Deep Eddy Vodka. It's our party deck tour going on this Friday. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Roto-Rooter. Plumbing problem? No match for a little DIY duct tape.
1075. The Fan.
Hey, shout out to Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden, hashtag Ask Pat. We're on the deck here at Morse Reservoir, Wolfies. This is a party deck tour stop at Deep Eddy Vodka. Romy has got our orders out there right now. Devin's the on-site engineer. James back in the studio. Fever Mystics later on tonight. We'll keep track of Evansville and Tennessee down in Knoxville, too. Last check, Evansville had an advantage. Mike Wells, top of the hour. Rick Venturi live here on the back deck. We'll talk Coats in the 4 o'clock hour, as well as, I believe, unless they got lost, the ladies of Channel 13, Lindsay Monroe and Gina Galeros, we're looking out for. And Chris Hagan rejoins us in a second. Matt Goins joins us right now from AAA membership. You were just a part with me of that read right now. I want to make sure people know that whether you're here or you're listening right now, we have an opportunity for them to win tickets, don't we?
Yeah, we're going to give away 2 tickets to the...
Your voice is way too good. You got to stop right there. Man, where'd you get that deep voice?
Southern Indiana.
Did you really?
Yeah.
We're Southern Indiana.
Yeah, North Vernon.
Well, see, I'm in Southern Indiana too, but I got this Southern drawl lisp thing working here.
Yeah,
what the hell?
That's natural, I guess.
So, would you say Mount Vernon or North Vernon?
North.
So you went to Jennings County?
I did.
Well done.
Yeah.
My first radio job, Scipio, Indiana.
That's my hometown.
Win 106 WINN.
Yeah. I was
North
rejected
Vernon,
there. I tried
Seymour,
to get
Columbus.
a job there once.
Did you?
Yeah. I don't think they saw the potential.
They used me once because something was stinking there, and something was dead, and it was the dead possum in the ceiling. So I got that thing out of there right there. All right, so tell people what they can win today, Matt.
Oh, we're going to give away 2 tickets to the AAA VIP party deck for the Kenny Chesney concert. So I think we'll give it away here, or someone calls in.
Well, we'll give a pair away here. You want to give away a pair here, and then a pair over the phone too?
Yeah. How
about that?
Yeah, I got the thumbs up. Let's do it.
Okay, got the thumbs up
Yeah.
from Matt Godbout over there. All right, so we'll do number 9 at 239-1070 right now if you want to go see Chesney on the party deck.
Yep.
And then right here, how are we going to do it right here? We got a bunch of people lifting their glass here. We can do a blind kind of a draw for the people we have here.
That sounds good.
We're during the top of the hour as well. Talk a little bit about the partnership you have as well with Ruoff.
Okay, so the partnership with Ruoff, it's all year long. The great thing is they charge normal individuals, between $20, $30 per concert for the fast pass, and then an additional charge to get into the VIP lounge. If you're a AAA member, it's all free. So the fast pass, you get in 30 minutes early, get to go to the lawn. So for me, when I'm a lawn sitter, it's important to get that good seat.
Yes, it is.
But the Premier Lounge is what we're most excited about, and then the partnership comes with an opportunity to put our members on that party deck 3 or 4 times a year. So we're going to give it away for the Kenny Chesney concert.
That is awesome, and all you got to do is sign up, right? Become a AAA member right now.
Just sign up. Be a member. Yeah, you don't have to be a member to win.
Right.
You do need to be a member to get through the fast pass.
Yes, do that.
Yep.
So you can win right now without being a member, but we want you to become a member so you can get that fast pass and everything else that entails. And by the way, James Taylor coming up on Tuesday night's another big one too. It's a great season, is it not, at Ruoff?
45-plus concerts. Yeah. It's an amazing lineup. I think the weather's going to be just like today for the rest of the year. Less windy, but perfect Indiana weather.
How can people sign up today? How can they? AAA membership, yeah. Have them sign up right now.
AAA.com, click buy a membership, go right on there, click it. We're giving away 2 free associates. The best time to sign up is right now.
That's beautiful, too. Matt Godbout, shout out over there as well. We got number 9 for the Chesney tickets at 239-1070, and we'll give away a pair as we're here right now. You want a cocktail?
Sure.
All right, Romy, cocktails all around. Cocktail samples for everybody. Wolfies, deck, we're on Morse Reservoir, Deep Eddy Vodka, Wells on the other side. We'll talk some NBA Game 1 from last night and more. Get you updated on Evansville and Tennessee. Chris Hagan rejoins, and you will not want to miss Colts conversation. Rick Venturi joins us right here at 4:30. Hang out for a little bit, Matt, okay?
Okay, I appreciate it.
Quick break. We'll come back, 4 o'clock hour. Straight ahead, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Introducing now. Reliable internet.
Now you listen here. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Now go away.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. We're on the back deck here at Wolfies. It's a little bit windy, but we love it out here. It's a gorgeous day. Thank you very much with Deep Eddy Vodka for having us here. We're on Morse Reservoir looking for you. Hagen is here. Lindsey Monroe of Channel 13. I'm John. Mike Wells of ESPN Radio on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline.
Hey, I cannot hear
it. Join in.
Hey, I cannot hear anything. All I hear is wind muffling. What song are we playing?
Can You Stand the Rain by New Edition right now? You don't hear that?
Stand by me through the good times and bad times. You will always be with me right there. Sunny day. Everybody knows better.
I've got some bad news for you, Wells. Last year when I was informed by my sources that you had badmouthed me, I went back and listened to the podcast. And when they play the podcast back, I don't know if there's some rights fees or whatever, but he didn't have the music bed accompanying him. So when it played back, it was just a cappella Wells.
Was it really?
And I can tell you what, that was some bad news.
You know what? You're right. We can't play that.
You didn't
back.
play it, yeah. So it's just Wells. So Mike, if you ever want to have some good times, go back and listen to yourself on the podcast version because I really thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, Clay, we got three things out of that, Hagen. I got a music deal off of my acapella. B, Jay and I are gonna go see DVD at the state fair, and C, you only brought your ass down here because the ladies killed it from WTHR last Friday, and you were embarrassed that
I know
I had more fun with them than I've ever had with you.
At first, I was like, "Oh, that's just a gag," and then I was like, "No, Wells he's serious. He really is having a better time with the ladies than me." So I had to come out here and try to defend my turf.
Lindsay's here again. Lindsay, say hello to Mike Wells.
Hi. Good to chat again.
I think Lindsay needs to come over and get on the camera.
They're all buddy all of a sudden.
I can come over
Why don't you come over and get on the camera right there, Lindsay? I think that'd be good. That helps the show.
A quick update. The bottom of the third, Evansville still leads Tennessee 2-1.
2-1.
Bottom of the third in Knoxville, trying to shock the world.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Mike.
Look at that. Hey, I'm just glad that my boy Hagen, he didn't take it personal when I clowned around on the radio because he knows that I only make fun of those I like. Some people can't handle when I'm cracking jokes on the radio and stuff. And so I'm glad Hagen did not take it personal. He's trying to come in and say that Fox 59 CBS 4 is better than WTHR. But I might be leaning towards WTHR at this moment after last Friday.
You know, for about 20 years now, Wells has been telling me he only makes fun of me because he likes me. I'm starting to think maybe that's not true. I mean, he's so consistent with his hatred of Hagen. I just don't understand.
I love you, Haig. I love you, bro.
All right, you're my guy.
It's Mike Wells of ESPN Radio. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I thought that you watch Game 1 of the Mavericks and the Celtics. I thought that the Pacers are far more competitive in 3 of the games than what we saw in Game 1 from the Mavericks last night.
Oh, my God. I mean, put it like this. I got home right before halftime, and I was like, damn, I'd have missed the game already. Celtics out there just knocking the Mavericks around, and you're right, John. I mean, you think about it, outside of that one game where Boston really punched them in the mouth, the Pacers were right there in the mix, you know, until late in the fourth quarter, until anything and everything happened to them. And the Mavs definitely didn't much happen. There was 11 straight losses by Kyrie against the Celtics, so you're 100% correct there.
Well, they also had time to rest and get healthy. They had Porzingis back. You know, he was in double figures, 6 of them in double figures. I don't want to say that the Celtics maybe took the Pacers lightly, but you could tell the Mavericks had Boston's full focus and attention.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, think about it. So both teams had enough time to go on vacation out the country if they wanted to. That's how much time there was in between the conference finals and the start of the NBA finals. But honestly, I think what it is, the Pacers did challenge the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, but Boston knows that if they don't win this championship, questions are going to be lingering because it'll be the second time in 3 seasons they lost in the NBA Finals. People are going to say, can Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum win a championship together? Can they do it together? And the questions will linger. So I like the side of Boston we saw last night. It proved that, okay, their commitment and their focus on winning the title is there, but it's still a long series. I mean, potentially you could have 6 more games in the NBA Finals.
Mike, this is Lindsay. I've been forming this question so I can continue to sound like I know.
Well, you sound professional as hell right now. Yeah.
So looking at the game last night, I watched till halftime. I'm like, this is a blowout. I'm not even interested. We got to keep folks interested in the series. What do the Mavericks need to do in order to match up better with the Celtics, how they are playing right now?
Well, obviously, first of all, Lindsay, I'm glad finally somebody asked a great question so far.
Oh, shut up, Wells.
Thank you very much. I know it's you. You don't have to introduce yourself by name. But to get back to your question, they got to have – you can't have Kyrie Irving go 6 of 19 from the field. Somebody's got to help Luka out. Luka had a very good third quarter. And obviously the bigs for the Mavs. I mean, you look at what Dallas was doing during their run to the finals. Their bigs were getting lobs for dunks now, stop off of feeds from Luka. So the role players got to step up. And Kyrie Irving can't look like just a player out there. He can't be turning the ball over. He's got to help out Luka. Because if there's no help for Luka, this finals will be over before you know it.
Well, as you talked about, the Celtics need to close the deal here, and you're looking, I think they're like 13-2 in the playoffs. Just an incredible run. But it reminds you that the best team in all sports doesn't always win the championship. Like the 2 best Colts teams since I've been here, they didn't win it all. You see teams, they talk about it, and it's not a cliche. It is so hard to win a championship, so you can't take them for granted, and you can't blow your chances when they're right there in front of you.
No, you can't, and that's why I said again. If Boston does not win this title, it's going to be because we all know we've all been to Boston. We know how the media market is, the fan base, very passionate, very outspoken, and the criticism, no matter whose fault it is, will be directed at Joe Mazzulla, the head coach, and also Jason Tatum, because they're the key figures, and the questions will linger. Okay, they brought in Jrue Holiday, great pickup for them this season, to go along with also, getting Porzingis, who, man, he was out there winking at his former team at different times of the game last night. So they're going to be like, how many more years can we keep this core together before we realize they're just not capable of getting it done? So you don't want to be like what Hagan alluded to, those great Colts teams who came up short in winning the Super Bowl. The Celtics don't want to be labeled in that same category.
Wells, we all know what the Boston area fans are like, but the media too. Like I was up there for game 1, and there was this guy. The press box is like on the moon. It's so far up there, you needed like a telescope to see what's going on. But this guy was clapping, like he would clap when it was a close game, and I didn't want to mess with him because he's way bigger than me. But I gave him the look, and he was like, "What? What?" I'm like, "You know what? You don't clap in the press box. It's just it's the fans, it's the media. It's just something with those people up there."
Well, first of all, I mean, that guy clapping in the press box will fit in with some of the indie media too, who like to be sipping the Kool-Aid. But that's a different.
Who claps in the press box? Who claps in the press box, Hagan? Who does?
I am neither aware of nor will I be commenting on people that clap in the press box. I know that Bill Polian used to cuss in the press box, which was always awesome.
Oh my goodness, yeah, but no, I mean, no, you're right. I mean, they will. I don't even know the Boston Herald's not very. Unfortunately, they're not very relevant anymore because they'd be on the back page of the Herald, if meaning the Celtics if they lose. But no, you talk about radio stations and the criticism. It would be nonstop criticism of the Celtics if that were to happen. But with that said, let me ask. I need to get an intelligent comment. So Lindsay, I need you again. Who wins it? Who do you have winning this series? Boston or the Mavericks?
I am simply going with the Celtics because, A, they've been like the overall winner, going into the playoffs. They had such a better record going in, just more impressive. And the fact that they beat the Pacers. It's like, if we're gonna lose, at least let the people who beat us win so we don't look, as bad.
That's always a great argument I've had with people over the years. Do you root for the team that knocked you out, or do you want them to get their ass kicked? And it's like 50-50. Sometimes you want to say, hey, well, at least we lost to the best. But sometimes you're like, hey, I'd like to see them get beat. John, what say you?
Here's what I say. I thought the Pacers beat themselves in those 3 games, so that pisses me off that Boston is there right now.
Right.
Mike, what do you think?
Oh, no, the Pacers definitely beat themselves. I mean,
it's not like that Boston didn't need any help, and the Pacers gave them all the help that was necessary for them to sweep.
No, they put it on a silver platter. Listen, if you're a Patriots fan, you want Boston to win because even though it's kind of weak sauce, you say, hey, we lost to the team that won the NBA Finals. And, well, damn, if Boston sweeps, it's not like the Patriots say, well, we win X amount of games because, no, they got swept too. At least they'll say we were more competitive than the Mavericks in the NBA Finals. But I do think Dallas will win a game or two. But I'm rolling with Lindsay. Lindsay, by the way, you need to replace Dave Calabro as the new sports director at WTHR. And Dave, I say that with love to you also, Dave.
Yeah, that sounds like that's very loving right there, Mike. You're giving a lot of love to Dave right there. A lot of love.
It's strange because I know one game doesn't make a series, but when the Pacers lost that first game, the way they lost it, I said they're going to lose this series and they might get swept. Even though they could have won a couple other games, you can't blow that lead the way you did and then lose in overtime and feel like, wow, we just gave one away. So in a sense, to win that series, you got to beat them 5 times because you already beat them once and gave it away. And that just wasn't going to happen.
No, it wasn't going to happen. And you know what, Hagan? I do agree with you on that. When they lost that game, we weren't able to close, and Jaylen Brown makes that 3, and you're ready to send it to overtime. I was like, no, this series is not meant for the Pacers to win. And then when Nembhard played out of his damn mind, when Tyrese was out in Game 3, and they did everything against the Celtics and were in position to win, and they still couldn't close out the game. You're like, no, it's just not meant for Indiana. It's one of those pat them on the back. They played hard, but just weren't good enough to beat the Celtics.
That's Mike Wells of ESPN Radio, Chris Hagan, Fox 59, Lindsay Monroe, Channel 13. I'm John. Thank you for joining us. It's Deep Eddy Vodka bringing us to you on the incredible deck at Wolfies. Scott and Nyla's going to join us. The owner's coming up in a minute, too, by the way. Rick Venturi is going to be here coming up at 4:30. He lives about 5 minutes away. I did want to ask you this. When you were covering the Colts and you went through all that Andrew Luck saga, would it have made everybody feel better, as I guess it did yesterday's to some Colts fans, if Andrew Luck would have gone out there and thrown some left-handed at all, leading up to his great retirement 2 weeks before the season? Would that have made the Colts fans feel better? Because I think a lot of Colts fans felt good about that yesterday. And I got to remind everybody that it's okay if you're apprehensive and you're skeptical about this because you're scarred from it from years of going through this prior.
You know what's funny? As I was sitting there following along this, and it was legit flashbacks when they were talking about the shoulder injury. And then I know Shane Steichen said if they had a game this Sunday, he'd be playing. If you're a diehard Colts fan, you better have some optimism. You're like, God, goodness gracious, are we going through this again? It's okay to be a little leery because, the reality is I'm sure there's plenty of Colts fans still scarred about that right shoulder injury for Andrew Luck that happened in Week 3 of the 2015 season against the Tennessee Titans. Clearly, there's a former beat writer still traumatized. I still remember it very vividly on where things went downhill for Andrew Luck. So if you're a Colts fan, you should be nervous because you're like, oh, please, Jesus, don't let this be the case again.
Well, we went through, what was it, the 2011 season where and John, you had your finger on the pulse of that with Peyton Manning, and then you had the Andrew Luck thing, and now, the fan base is a little gun shy when it comes to situations discussing. But let's remember, Richardson, he just turned 22 a couple of weeks ago. He's a young guy. It's not like he's an older veteran guy trying to come back from something. The surgery, though, anytime you go under a doctor's care and they put you out, you start like, okay, is how much of the comeback is physical and how much is mental? So he may be he feels a little bit of a twinge, a little bit of a soreness. He's going to be concerned. But I'd like to believe Steichen's saying, hey, if it was game week, he'd be ready to go.
So Hagen's saying that he's too smart for the situation. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm gonna play devil.
You need somebody like me that's really dumb.
Hey,
right.
devil's advocate,
at the same.
The devil's advocate. So let me ask you a question. All right, he feels like you make a mention like, he feels a little twinge or whatever. You want to shut down. Does that not make you guys like, oh my God? Is it, I'm not saying it's between the ears like Irsay said with Andrew Luck, but are you like, holy cow? Is it
Of course it does. Because you've been down this path before, and believe me, it's not like they've gained any ground since that point in time. I mean, you've been told that, hey, Phillip Rivers, 2 years, he's going to get you deep into the postseason. Phillip Rivers went 1 year. Carson Wentz is reborn now, and he wasn't. You saw what happened there. Matt Ryan told me he still had 4 years. He didn't look like he had 4 snaps remaining when he got out there. So everybody's been told, Mike, around here what to expect, and unfortunately what they've expected has not been what we have seen, and that's the problem.
Also, an issue is he only played 4 games as a rookie. So it's not like if he's healthy, he's going to go be all-pro. He still has a lot of learning to do. He's only 22. The Colts really don't know what they have in him as the franchise guy. Granted, he had some flashes, but that's of concern too. It's almost like you're going back to square one on a rookie quarterback, and there's no guarantee that he's going to be the guy based on what you saw just from, parts of 4 games.
Damn, Hagen, hey, I'm rolling with you. We're 2 for 2 now because the best point you made is he only played 4 games, so he's basically a rookie. So you're still curious on what you have in the cupboard because I would say I'm gonna throw Lindsay in the mix too. All 4 of us know that going against your own defense and practice and training camp and stuff doesn't tell the whole tale because you don't have Quiddy Pace not coming off the edge and truly coming in to hit you, or Big Glover or DeForest Buckner's not coming up the middle and going to knock you down when you're standing in the pocket as the pocket is shrinking around you. So you really don't know what you have out of Anthony Richardson and what type of quarterback he's going to be in the NFL.
How big of a role do you think handsome Joe Flacco is going to be?
Is he handsome?
Is that part of his name?
Do you think he's handsome?
I thought he was handsome when he was the Super Bowl champion.
Oh,
the Ravens.
well, son of a gun.
I've been told by
delightfully.
there are many people who I won't name in the business that have told me he is really good looking.
Really?
Yeah.
If he's your type.
Really now?
Yeah.
Apparently Joe Flacco is a good-looking fella, so good for him.
Son of a gun. I didn't know that.
Well, Lindsay, I'll tell you right now, it's not based off your voice. It sounds like Joe Flacco might be about 10 to 12 years your senior, though. I mean, he's not a spring chicken.
He's not that far.
Well,
but
I guarantee you Lindsay can scramble better than he can right now.
Well, the Colts fans are hoping they only see Joe Flacco being handsome on the sideline.
Exactly.
But what did Richardson have? Richardson only had like 12 or 13 college starts, so he was kind of an unproven commodity getting drafted at the age of 20.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at a guy with 4 NFL starts. I don't think he even finished all those games, and he's got a surgery, and he's got a little soreness in the shoulder. So if I'm Shane Steichen, I'm not getting to the microphone and saying, guys, I'm really freaking worried about this. He said the right things. Hey, if it's time to go. But, yeah, you want to see him healthy. You want to see what he has because the one thing the Colts don't want to have is a year from now they're sitting here going, well, what are we going to do at quarterback?
No, you're right. And Lindsay doesn't want to be like
I'm sick of going down that path. Man.
Hey, and Lindsay doesn't want to be like, damn, Joe Flacco's got his helmet on taking snaps. He's not on the sideline with a baseball cap on with his little pretty eyes showing, and I can't really look at him. That's what Lindsay's going to be like. Yeah, she wants the helmet off, just like she wants the helmet off Joe Flacco the same way Colts fans want the helmet on Anthony Richardson, handing the ball off to Jonathan Taylor or throwing bombs to Michael Pittman Jr. That's how Lindsay would have it in the perfect world. I think everybody wants to see. There is so much you got to. I think people would be lying if they said there's no nervousness. I'm wondering what the Colts are going to do at Anthony Richardson because C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans down there in South Texas, they ain't going no damn where. And the road to the AFC South is going to go through Houston because I love what the Texans did in the offseason. And I know you don't win championships on paper, but you got to think they're going to continue to get better.
How big a game is that week one, about 3 months away. When you're talking about they haven't won a home opener since JMV was in high school.
Yes.
It's the division champ. It's on the home. They always say division games count 2. They say you got to win. You got to protect the home turf. You got to get out of the gate strong. I mean, you don't say anything's a make or break, but that is just a huge freaking game coming out of the gate.
So you had to mess things up. We were on a roll, Hagen, and you're gonna put a sale on week one of the regular season. We watched this
right now.
He's put a must-win on that like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, man, no, it's not a must-win. I mean, the Colts and week one are equivalent to JMV wanting to play defense when he's playing pickup ball. It rarely happens. So let's be real. It's not a big deal.
Hey, Mike,
out
man.
there. It's just.
I shot so bad the other night. I was so embarrassed for myself. I seriously was. In Center Grove the other night. I was so embarrassed. I dropped some of the best F-bombs you've ever heard in a school in your life before. That was so awful.
Hey, Wells, before you run off, since you mentioned hoops, and now this isn't going to turn into be a 5-segment discussion, I just wanted to get your take on Caitlin Clark. And can you believe anybody ever being so polarized and coming into the league and just the nonstop discussion online, on TV, and everywhere she goes, there's some kind of big debate about it.
Man, it is nonstop debate. I mean, I guarantee you can ask most people. They'll know who Caitlin Clark is, but they likely won't. They likely won't know the stats. They don't know she's averaging almost 16 points a game, over 6 assists a game. They're just going to think about Caitlin Clark and Kennedy from the Sky and Angel Reese and her getting all this attention. They might even throw Greg Doyle's name in the mix too. That's what they're going to talk about with Caitlin Clark. They're not going to talk about her, the basketball player. They're going to talk about all the things that's been happening to her, not related to putting the ball in the basket or throwing a Magic Johnson type no-look pass. They're going to talk about the things she has had to deal with so far in her rookie season with the Indiana Fever.
And the 15 missed layups I got to watch every stinking game. It kind of looks like I'm watching the Hot Shots. 15 missed layups and 25 held balls in the first half.
Oh, you're right about. Hey, listen, you're right about that. It was like we were in a barn all over again. Hey, Lindsay, are you about to be a regular? Are you going to be a regular on Fridays now?
I don't know. I mean, as long as they're in a beautiful location like this, the weather's good. Yeah, I love it out here. We'll see.
Yeah, hey, let me know next Friday if you're on location. We'll just bump Hagen out of the way. It'll be me, you, and John next Friday, all right?
You got it, buddy. All right, Mike. Hey, best of the family, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Y'all be good. Hagen, talk to you, brother.
All right, man.
That's Mike Wells of ESPN Radio right now.
If I had feelings, that would have hurt them.
Yeah, you're okay. You don't have any, though. Hey, Scott and Nyla Wolf are here right now, owners of Wolfies. How you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Great. Well, good. Thanks for having us out here today.
Absolutely. What a beautiful day.
Oh, it's a beautiful day right here. It is. And we missed you last week because we were in Geist.
Yep.
We brought Lindsay out and Gina.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Are we still waiting on Gina, I guess?
She'll be here in 5 minutes.
Gina, did she get some kind of news story she had to cover or something?
Yeah, she had to do her day job today.
Oh,
Gina. Well, I heard it was an amazing turnout. You guys did a great job.
It was a great time, man.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about where we are right now here on Morse Reservoir. We got Rick Venturi, who's 5 minutes away, who's going to join us coming up next as well, who's a big fan of Wolfies. Tell us a little bit about it.
So, you know what? We got this 20-year anniversary this year. It's crazy. We got a lot of things going on this year. So this is 20 years to Cheers to Wolfies. My wife and I, 40 years marriage, and we actually wrote a book. And so
I've got the book right here, and you can watch
crazy
AAA membership via YouTube Live right now. It's called Wolves in the Kitchen.
You got
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think, Nyla?
I love it. It's the best book. No, I don't know if it's the best book, but it's a good book. A lot of people don't know our story. They think we came from just happened, but it really wasn't. I met Scott at Dalt's, back, if you don't remember Dalt's, back at East Northern Crossing.
Oh, yeah.
But he was homeless, and we kind of hooked up. And
So I was homeless.
He was homeless.
Clearly.
And so we kind of hooked up, and we made this go, but it was a tough go. So we had this, we opened this, but Scott said, I can't leave. I got to stay at Applebee's to pay the bills. So I worked this for 3 years, and it was a good bet.
Scott, how many locations do you have right now?
So we got 5 Wolfies, we've got 3 Broken Barrels, and then we got we call the Legacy Group, which is the Italian House, Nyla's, and then we're going to open the Swanky Mule in about 2 months. That's
the
a new
Swanky
one.
Mule?
Right across from
That's
the
a spectacular
Italian
name.
house.
Who came up with that?
Ooh, our son. No, our son. He's so good. He's so creative.
What'd you give the Swanky Mule?
Swanky Mule is going to be a small plate cocktail, kind of a speakeasy in Westfield, right across from the Italian house. So you wait for a reservation, you go over there, have a small plate, have a cocktail, and you can go late night.
That's awesome, right?
I was telling Scott off the air is that like I've been to all 50 states, and wherever I'm somewhere, I like to go to the first location of somewhere.
Yep.
And I like to hear the story because when people open the first location, they don't ever imagine that it's going to grow.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm just hoping this one goes.
Yeah.
And then the journey. That's why I'm excited to read this book.
It's
because all this stuff didn't happen overnight, and
No.
it's a family affair, and you know the growth, it keeps going because you guys are doing something right. So maybe I can learn a thing or two also.
Yeah,
from
you'll
it.
love it.
I don't know if you're going to learn anything from it, but I'll tell you what, it's one of these things that it was just kind of our growth and what we drew and learned, and we were in.
I never wanted to be in debt. So I said, you stay with Applebee's, I'll work until we get out of debt. And that's kind of how it happened. Yeah.
So you guys are perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yin and yang.
I love it. Perfect. Well, Wolves in the Kitchen is a book. Where can people find this book?
Amazon. They
Borders.
can buy it in the restaurant. Borders.
Yeah.
Yeah. All those.
Yeah.
But, hey guys, you guys are the best.
Well, no, you guys are. Thank you very much, and we want to get to everything here too. So, yeah, we want to get to all your places. So
Yep,
at some
Well, let's
point.
go.
And we got people that come out and love obviously what you guys do. Thank you guys.
So which is your favorite?
Huh?
No,
Well,
come on now.
I
on the
like it. I
spot.
like it out here because Rick Venturi comes out here all the time and joins us too, which is pretty awesome. He lives 5 minutes away.
I love it.
No, it's like I'm a big fan. This reminds me a little bit of Lake Monroe
It
right
does,
here. I
yeah.
mean, it does.
It
and I'm a
does.
big fan of Southern Indiana, Lake Monroe. So, but you guys are the best. Thank
Have you
you.
tried the
Thank
Italian
you.
house yet?
I have not.
Oh, I
Brother,
love the
I'm ready.
Italian.
I'm a big
Okay.
Italian
good.
guy.
Join me.
You
Come
put
on.
scallops and stuff too?
Oh, we'll do anything for you.
Oh, I love it.
We'll take care of you.
Thank you,
Scott,
guys.
Love you guys.
Scott, thank you, man. Scott and Nyla,
Nyla,
thank you
thank
for
you.
having us very
Thank
much.
you.
Lindsay rejoins. Rick Venturi is going to join us coming up in a minute. What do you think? And my guy Romy is over there. If you guys want the free samples, let's round it up. Deep Eddy Vodka, the back deck we are today. We're on Morse Reservoir at Wolfies. Hang in there. We're coming back with Rick Venturi next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Hootie fans, get ready. Hootie and the Blowfish, Summer Camp with Trucks Tour 2024. Tomorrow, Ruoff Music Center, Hootie and the Blowfish, together again.
The Ride with JMV.
We're not going to fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
It should be more natural, brother. It should flow out like this. Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, this is glorious. Thank you to Scott and Nyla Wolf. The ownership here at Wolfies. We're on Morse Reservoir. It's our Deep Eddy vodka. Our party deck tour stop here is outstanding. Dev's the on-site engineer. James Bagger, the studio. Scott and Nyla just joined us. Mike Wells of ESPN Radio. Chris Hagan is here. Fox 59. Jim Romanak is here, too. Get with Romy. Romy's going to set you up with the Deep Eddy vodka samples as we're flowing. And Matt, you go over to the table right now and sign up for Kenny Chesney tickets. We're going to give those away courtesy of, again, Kenny Chesney tickets. Sign up to win those right there. We'll draw a winner a little bit later on. Lindsay Monroe of Channel 13 is also here. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
We're waiting on Gina Galeros from Channel 13 as well, but look who is here. And I mentioned this to Nyla Wolf. I said, the reason why I love being and I'm an hour and 15 minutes away from my house right now. I love being on Morse because there's my man. Rick Venturi is in the house because you're literally 5 minutes away.
Man, oh, man, this is a home game for me. I can give you the menu without being passed out. But I feel like I'm on with the 29 Yankees today. Chris, Lindsay, John, holy cow.
How about that?
I mean, I didn't know I was going to be privileged today.
Oh, my goodness. It is awesome. And the lovely ladies of 13, so talented, have been coming out talking sports with us the past couple of weeks. How you been doing, too? I know you've been out there. You've been going to the mini camp situations. How's that been?
Well, no, I've been doing great. You know, I got my couple months fixed in Florida, and then I came back for the draft, which I love. You know me. I love the draft. I love the process. And Matt and I put in a lot of hours on that. And then it was mini camp this week. I was able to watch them live, at least in sweats. It's kind of gym class, but you're watching them, and so that's a fix. And now for me, it's motorcycle season and horse racing season. Now, I'll be out at Hoosier Park tomorrow for the Belmont.
Did you ride the bike over here?
I could have. I did not, but yeah.
Now, how far down do you live?
Okay, if you go out here, you go out the exit, go down to the roundabout, turn right. And you go right. As soon as you hit the golf course, you make a left, and I'm in there.
Hey, what's your exact street address, Coach? We'd like to get that out
910.
Well, I was going to ask Scott Wolf. Somebody had one of those Tesla, what are those things called? Those silver.
Big trucks?
Yeah, those trucks. Hey, Scott, is that your Tesla truck out there? Somebody's got one of those out there. I thought it was like Megaforce out there in the park.
I know, it looks like a Teflon can.
Yeah, it really does look like aluminum siding with wheels.
I'm Ford Maverick guy, man.
It is. All right, we'll start going around the table here with questions. And at JMV 1070, if you guys have any questions for Rick, or at 239-1070, you guys can phone as well, and we'll pipe you in with Rick Venturi. But as far as Anthony Richardson and all that has taken place in minicamp, what do you think?
Well, there's no question about the skill set. And if you watch the first 2 days, you see it. You see it on display. I mean, I've never seen him as huge as he is. He can cut it. He can cut it loose and spin it. I listen to you guys coming over. I mean, no matter what anybody says, whenever a guy has shoulder problems, it's a little bit unnerving. Yeah. I mean, somebody used the cliche, the greatest two words in sports is seventh game. The worst two words in Indianapolis is quarterback shoulder soreness. The worst by far. I think the big thing, he's got it all. I think this is a pretty good team surrounding him, very, very solid. I think the addition, and when you watch a mini camp, I pretty much center on the perimeter guys. You're not going to get anything out of the linemen, but watching Mitchell, we really lucked out on that one. I mean, to get Mitchell 52, I mean, he is exactly what the doctor ordered because, with Richardson, and I think you have to temper it. I think Chris made a good point. He's only played 4 games. And I think the expectations are up here, and there's going to be some bumps in the road. I mean, he's going to have some issues. I think we have to temper that down a little bit in But when I look at it, when you look at it just from a defensive coordinator prism, which is me, okay, I'm going to say when I play the Colts, I'm not going to let Richardson's legs or Taylor's legs beat me. So I'm going to put somehow 9 guys inside the numbers. Okay, I might have a single high, I might spin safeties, but I'm not going to let you beat me. So what I'm going to, at the expense of playing one-on-one on the outside, and as good as Pittman is not that guy. Pittman is a terrific inside, dirty work player. So is Downs. Downs is we need that guy that could go win one-on-one on the outside when they load it. And just watching Mitchell for 2 days, I mean, the guy really is talented. I mean, he can flat go. He's much more physical. He looks like a running back. I mean, when you're looking at tape like I do, you don't see that necessarily. And I think that's going to be a huge addition to really a pretty good offense that really about only lacks that.
As soon as Coach shows up, he's got the notebook. He breaks it open. Within 90 seconds, I feel dumber. I feel dumber than I was when he starts talking.
He knows this.
But I want to get this. We talk about an inexperienced kid. He just turned 22. Obviously, experience is the best teacher. Only played 4 games. What, if any, benefit was there to at least he was in the building, he was in meetings last year, he was watching games? What do you take from that, although you'd obviously like to have him out there?
Well, you would like to have him out there, but there are some benefits, okay? First of all, playing into 4 games, okay, he definitely now understands what the speed of the game is, okay? And that's the big transition from Saturday to Sunday. It's 2 different sports. They're both great games, but it's 2 different sports. So he already understands now by playing how fast that is, how things move, how sophisticated it can be on 3rd down. But then getting out of there and kind of watching a pro like Minshew going through the work ethic, going through the work week, all those things that are really important in the grind. People don't think of the grind, but you're there training camp, then 17 weeks, then hopefully weeks after that. So you really have to learn how to play that day in, day out, stay under control, do what you're doing, watch things happen. So, I think there are some benefits there.
There's a lot of buzz right now, and you said the grind. I feel like the NFL might be trying to make that even a little worse with changing up the schedule. I mean, you've been to these mini camps, you've been to training camp, you've seen the 17-week schedule play out. What do you think? We've heard from Colts players, their opinions. Not a fan of changing it to that 18-week schedule, but do you think it's working how it is now? Why do you think all this discussion about potentially changing things up?
Well, I think, it's follow the money, okay? Yeah. And basically fans are clamoring for that 18th game. And I think inevitably, to me, there's no question there will be an 18-game schedule.
You're right.
Yeah. And the Super Bowl will be played on President's Day so that you have the Monday off. And you'll go 18 weeks, 2 preseason games. People hate paying that money for those preseason games. Yeah. And the owners, the owners really, they're not really empathetic to either players or coaches. All they care about, really and truly, is the bottom line. And so what we think really in the end of it really doesn't make any difference, to tell you the truth. And so, we're at 17. I think 18 is what's going to happen. And what they'll do, Lindsay, I think, is they will concede things. In every collective bargaining, and I've been through 3 of them, every time there's a collective bargaining agreement, all the players are interested in is 2 things. 1, a bigger cut in the pie, a bigger sense of that common revenue, and less time on the field. So the owners, I've already heard this dropped, and I'm all for it. The owners are basically putting out that, what do you call it in the media, that test balloon. Yeah. And basically it's, let's don't have an off season, okay, other than lifting and things like that. No OTAs, no mini camps. Just we go to training camp and we play. Those types of things are concessions to the players. Now myself, if it were up to me, we would drop all this gym class. We would pick up 1 week, but it would be full metal jacket. Okay.
No, you're right. I agree.
No, and I think it would benefit the players. You can scrimmage, you can do whatever you want to, and then after the 1 week, you go back to the pillow fighting. Because what I see in modern day football is everybody protects their players in August, and then you get this humongous rash of injuries in September.
Yeah.
I mean, torque injuries, not even contact injuries. It's always amazing to me that you don't play your guys in preseason, you never hit, you never scrimmage, and then on opening day you go out and you play 75 play live. I mean, who does that?
It is. They will have to go to 18 because now it's a competitive disadvantage where some teams have 8 home games, 9 road games. But then Ryan Kelly was very adamant about, hey, if you want to come play 18, come talk to me. It goes back to the money. The fans don't want to, when they had 4 preseason games and that's part of your season ticket package and you're not seeing any of the stars play, who's watching those preseason games? No offense to our stations because we air those preseason games, but that'll just become the norm. And as you said, it's not like the old days where you had to have training camp to come get these guys. These guys are in shape 24/7.
Yes.
They're working on their own. Let's get at it. Let's go full metal jacket and let's go play football.
And to Lindsay's question, really, is the guys bitch like heck when we went to 17. You don't hear anything right now. I mean, because there's more revenue to be shared down the road.
So Rick Venturi right there with us. Before we go to a break, is there a level in which we ceiling out and then people start to get a little bit disgruntled with the NFL and how much they put on everybody's plate? Is there a level? Do you foresee there being a time where maybe there's a peak and you go over on the other side, or is it endless?
I guess an ice cream sundae is good. A gallon isn't good. I mean, I don't know. We're not there yet. I know that. I mean, remember when everybody said Thursday night football will never go?
Yeah.
It's the hottest ticket. They just paid the biggest money to get that contract. We can't get enough of it. It's in our blood. It's a TV game.
It's a gambling game. It's a fantasy sports game.
When I had my own talk show in St. Louis, my biggest listeners when we did the demographics, fantasy football people and gamblers. And in reality, the percentage of women is going way up. So it's we are. I'm telling you, John, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, even streaming, people thought, well, they're not going to pay for a Thursday night game. They got records.
Wait until it all has to be paid for, because that's not too far away.
It's not too far away.
You have to increase your bet then to win the money to pay for the streaming. It'll all work out.
Yeah.
So Rick Venturi, Chris Hagan, Lindsey Monroe, JMV. We are on the deck. It's Deep Eddy Vodka bringing us to you from Morse Reservoir at Wolfies. Thank you to Scott and Nyla for having us. Thank you for being a part. Jim Romanak is here. If you guys want that free sample of Deep Eddy Vodka, he's got it for you. And we got your chance to sign up with AAA membership for those Kenny Chesney tickets as well. Again, Morse Reservoir. We'll come back. And Rick, I've got somebody that has just sent me an X message wanting to know a question regarding Gus Bradley. So sit tight. A Gus Bradley question coming to Rick Venturi.
You get it unfiltered today.
93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
The construction industry in Indiana has depended on quality supply and tool. A local
Ride with JMV.
He's my best friend. He's my pal. He's my homeboy, my rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese, my good time boy.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
John here, back deck, Morse Reservoir, Deep Eddy Vodka, Rick Venturi, Chris Hagan, Lindsay Monroe. JMV, thank you for joining us. A family four-pack to the swimming qualifiers for the Paris Olympics at Lucas Oil Stadium, number 9 at 239-1070. Get with James and you will win those. AAA membership, my friends Matt and Matt have the opportunity for you to sign up and win Kenny Chesney tickets here on the back deck at Morse Reservoir. An update on Evansville and Tennessee in that super regional right now. What do you got, Hagan?
5-5. Evansville with a 2-out rally to plate 3 to pull even at 5-5. 6-5. We have an instant update. This guy's a Vols fan, by the way.
Oh, 6-5 Tennessee now?
They can put up crooked numbers in a heartbeat.
Yeah, they
now,
can.
look, I got a question to ask Lindsay. Where is Gina? Because this wouldn't be the first time a female told me she was going to show up somewhere and never arrived.
Gina does this to me a lot.
Does she really?
She's like,
And
I'm
not
leaving
show?
the station in 20 minutes. 45 minutes later, I'm getting ready to leave the station. She's a perfectionist when it comes to her editing.
Is she really?
And so she has something that has to get done. She's going to make sure it's perfect before she goes.
She's not like John and I when it comes to being a perfectionist. Just get it done and get out of there.
Jack around and get drunk on the air. You know, that's what we kind of do around here. Rick Venturi also with us, too. Rick had a good question, Hagan. You can answer this as well because you come from the hub of college baseball where it's really good down in the South and SEC country. How formidable now is NIL in terms of being able to get the best baseball players?
Well, it is huge because college baseball had the fewest scholarships of any varsity sport. It was atrocious because they had to balance them out, and you have, the male and female things balance out, and there's so many on a football team that you have to make up for that in other sports and take away. So baseball, I think it was like 11 and a half full scholarships you had. So now that there's NIL, you can get and keep good players that are draft eligible. You can say, hey, look, do you want to go in the 15th round to the Padres and maybe get a little small signing bonus? So you want to come back here, and we'll pay you at least that signing bonus, which is good for college baseball because you're seeing more and more a guy like Paul Skeens. He went to LSU solely based on NIL.
Yeah.
And he fast-tracked himself to the majors where he's been, he's 3-0 now. Had a little stint here in Indianapolis. So if you got to see him, you can tell he was a special talent. But he didn't just have to run and go chase that money. He went and won himself a national championship that he'll enjoy forever.
Yeah, my background, those 10 years in Louisiana, LSU, Tulane, Southwest.
Skip Bertman was the coach.
I mean, in one of those years I was there, I think about 2003, we had all three of those teams at Omaha.
Right.
So, I mean, I really got into it and loved it. You go to you played against them. You go to an LSU baseball game, it's like a football game at the box. I mean, it really is. And I just wondered how much it would. I do know this, that they're paying the baseball coach at LSU $2 million plus incentives.
You know what it hurt? Here's what it hurts though. Mississippi State's best pitcher this year transferred from Purdue. They also had a pitcher from Zionsville transferred from Ball State.
Yeah.
Skeens transferred from Air Force. So it's like every other sport. If you're a stud, playing at a smaller school, well, guess what? Here comes Georgia, and you're going to play defensive back for Georgia.
Indiana State would have no idea what you're talking about in basketball.
No, and all they do is win. But like my alma mater, Northwestern. Okay, and the kid did a heck of a job. Got the head job this year. But with those teams coming in from the Pac-10 and the NIL, I don't know how they survive at all, to be honest with you. That second tier of all the major league teams, I know football more than anything. It's going to be a struggle.
Well, and you hear Kurt Cignetti, the new head coach of IU. I mean, you talk with all that bravado, and I know everybody loves it, and they should. But, man, you look at now all these teams coming in, which raises the bar even more of how you have to
Why do you think, your old buddy, why do you think Saban said see you later?
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Well, yes, exactly.
Nick is old school, and he was so tired of recruiting his own guys as sophomores and juniors. I mean, and LSU has all the money in the world, so it wasn't really, he didn't want to compete. I guess they say he was in on somebody, a kid out of Florida, for $4 million, and when he lost him to somebody that day, He said that's it.
Done.
You know, that's it.
And Jay
That's
Wright
it.
did that in basketball 2 years ago at Villanova as well. All right, Rick, Chris, Lindsay, John, back deck here. We're at Morse Reservoir at Wolfies. Deep Eddy Vodka. Again, Jim Romanek's got the Titleist hat on right there, right? And he's got the free samples for you. There you go, Litzy. Thank you. AAA memberships got your sign up over there for the Chesney tickets. I'll get to that Gus Bradley question coming up on the other side as well. 5 o'clock hour, Rick Venturi at 239-1070 if you guys want to join. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding them
this.
The Ride with JMV.
Attention, whoever you are, this channel is reserved for emergency calls only.
Lady, do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, it's been a busy day so far. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all for joining us at the back deck. And again, a shout out, thank you, at Wolfies on Morse. Jim Romanek is around here with Deep Eddy Vodka. If you guys want to drink, sample. I got to say sample. If I say drink, somebody's going to climb up my ass about it, and I don't want that. So, yeah, I don't want it. I'll have to face it on Monday. The free samples are flowing right here, and Jim Romanek's got you covered if you guys want it. Jim's right over there. Romy will take care of you. Devin's the on-site engineer. James back in the studio. Chris Hagan of Fox 59 is here. Hello, Chris.
Hi, John. It's great to see you after I was pushed to the side last week by the women of THR.
Rick Venturi is here as well.
All right,
Our
John.
friend.
It's a home game for me, buddy.
It is a home game. Lindsay Monroe. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi.
And look who is finally here.
I made it.
And I was going to say, you smell really good, but it sounds kind of weird when I say that. You know what? I don't want to be a creeper or anything like that.
Bonus of women on the show.
Gina Galeros.
Right.
It's the wind is blowing this way, too.
Well, it's blowing right
blowing
here.
at us.
What kind of perfume are we rocking right now? Because it's right here in my grill. Really. It's right up in here.
Not an ad. Chanel.
Chanel. Well, hell.
John, you sound like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
I know it.
What kind of perfume? That smells really good.
I'm gonna tuck my stuff in a minute and take a picture.
What are you wearing? That smells great.
Sorry,
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you, Gina. Have you ever met
right
Rick
off the
before?
top. No, we just met
We've got
a couple minutes ago. Great to meet you, man.
Football conversation going on. So, all right. So we'll start right here. And if you guys want to call in 239-1070, you certainly can. You can get me at JMV 1070 if you have any questions for Rick. We had a question. I asked Mike Chappell this yesterday, and I said I'm sure somebody was going to ask you about Gus Bradley going into this season. And the question was asked, what are you looking for from this defense and what needs to be done differently?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, when I look at this team and I go out and I watch it in practice like I have all week, and I study it, I study the young kids on tape, to me, there's two keys to this season. There's really two keys. We can nuance a million things, but it will come down to two things. One, how fast will AR5 actually develop here quickly? Will he reach a very high level quickly? Again, this is an extension of his rookie year. Will he stay healthy? So the AR5 factor is number one, without question. Yeah. 1A is, will Gus Bradley finally pull it together? He has a busload of talent on defense. This is a talented defensive football team, and we just made it better with Latu off the edge. But in the end, okay, we've got to be better than 28th in the league in points given up and 24th in the league in total defense, because what you're doing is you're giving up volumes of points, you're giving up volumes of yardage, okay? Very, very important. In the game that meant everything, the Houston game, the quarterback goes 20 of 26, 77%, and Collins goes off for 195 yards. So part of also that issue is we've got to stop making kingmakers. We're kingmakers of quarterbacks, even backup quarterbacks, and wide receivers. I mean, just look at them over the last 2 years. Guys come in here and they have career days. Now, there isn't anything we can't fix because I don't think it's a talent issue. I do feel like we have a little bit of a question mark at corner, but I feel like those kids are better than advertised if used properly, okay? I think number one, the first thing you got to understand, two stats. We're number one in the league in the most soft zone played. Number one by itself. Most soft zone played, and we're last in the league in pressure defenses, blitzes. That just can't go. I mean, that means you're standstill, hoping to go, and we're better than that. I think the biggest thing he has to do, John, there's two things I have to think that are, and they can be done. They can be tweaked, okay? Number one, we have to play much tighter choke-off coverage, particularly with those young two corners who don't have great speed, but they have length, they have quickness, they're tough and instinctive. You want to put them up in their grill. You want to get up and press. Take the decision out of it. Get them out of that soft zone where they've got to transition. Get up in their face, take them on, and then so that you're not always one-on-one, then you got to roll over the top, bail on one side, do it the other way, double zone. You have to mix that stuff, but we have to play more choke-off coverage. There's way too many concession completions in our defense where you just go back 5 and throw it. I mean, I don't care if you had 5 Usain Bolts across there. You're not going to get to the quarterback if you don't choke people off. And then I think you have to use a lot more 5-man pressure, whether it's Kenny Moore off the edge or it's speed off the other edge. And when you do that, though, rather than playing zone behind it, you got to play tough press man-to-man so that when the quarterback feels the pressure, he doesn't have a quick outlet. You follow what I'm saying? The rush and the coverage are interrelated. And the most important thing for us to do is get more stifling type, choke off, man-to-man, and match zone type coverage, okay?
Colts,
how's that for a clinic?
Is all this going to be on the final exam?
As long as it's on his final exam.
You know, this makes me sound so smart, and I have zero to do.
I know
with it.
it'd have been nice if Coach showed up prepared for the segment. People forget about what the defense does. They just look at offensive stats and the quarterback. Is this one of those situations like when Peyton came in, started from day one? He set a record for most interceptions by a rookie, 3 and 13. You rode with him. He is our guy. We talked about the handsome Joe Flacco on the sideline. Is this health-wise?
He is handsome. See?
Hey, knock it off.
Is he handsome? Gina, is he handsome?
I agree. Yeah.
Really? God,
She's Italian, though, as well.
Yes, he's very handsome. I was listening on the way in. I was like,
are you Italian?
I am.
Son of a gun.
Italian Fest coming up next week.
Oh, it
Sorry,
is, isn't
tangent.
it?
So go back.
We'll talk about that later. Just think about spaghetti.
Is Richardson, when healthy,
over here.
is he the guy, go out there, if they go 2 and 15, so be it, throw him out there and let him go?
Oh, you have to play with him. Oh, there's no doubt about it. And we won't go 2 and 15. We're better than that. I will say this, though. The AFC South is going to be challenging.
It's a meat grinder now.
There isn't anyone who didn't get substantially better in the AFC South. So every game you play is going to battle, starting with that humongous
I said it was
battle
humongous, and Wells yelled at me. It's a huge
Houston.
game.
But, no, you have to play them. You're not going to win with anybody else. Matter of fact, I will give all the credit in the world to Gardner Minshew. I would have never dreamed that he could have taken us that long and won that many games. I mean, he and Moss were probably the 2 best backups in the National Football League last year when it came to really producing. And Joe Flacco now has a great arm still. I mean, he can still spin it. He can really spin the ball. But I don't think that he can give us nearly the movement and getting out of trouble and making creative plays that Minshew did if you have to play for a long time.
Right.
We've heard a lot about the importance of wide receivers with the Justin Jefferson salary deal that just came down, record breaking. It's just, throwing so much importance on wide receiver play right now. Talk about our wide receivers, where you think we are, and if you see any movement in that position.
Well, I think, first of all, I'll start from the kind of backwards on it. The addition of Mitchell really gives us something, I think, that makes everybody better. All right, let's start with Pittman now. Pittman, to me, you love Pittman. He's a workaholic. He's tough. He does the dirty work. But he's really a tight end in a wide receiver body. He has high volume catches, but he's 85th in the league, 10.6 in yards after the catch. So he's not going to be the creative guy, but he's going to be the dirty work guy, the valuable guy. I think Josh Downs, if he stays healthy, is really creative at slot. I mean, super creative. So now I think what is important is that we have speed on the outside and guys that can win one-on-one outside the numbers, because the game is going to one-on-one outside. Everybody's packing the inside because people have quarterbacks that can run, so they have to have their safeties up tight. So I think Pierce has speed to do it. And Mitchell comes in, and from what I've seen so far, he's going to be a really complete guy, Lindsay. I think, and I think he can beat you on the outside. So, you know, and I will only use Philadelphia because we're similar to Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts and with AR5. They didn't get better until they traded for A.J. Brown and put A.J. on one side and Smitty on the other side, and now you can't play him with 9 inside.
All right, Gina, you're up.
Okay, well, I'm coming in late to this conversation. I guess my question is Anthony Richardson. Did we already talk about his health and what's next for him?
Well, we don't. You know, we all don't know. I mean, they're gonna be really positive, and we have no. I guess we have no reason other than some history to believe that he won't be just fine. He looked great the first 2 days, particularly the last OTA and the first minicamp practice. He looked great. I mean, physically. I mean, he was cutting it. He was spinning it, throwing it deep.
Yeah.
You know, and in it, you could see it fall off just a little. I could with a trained eye. And then then they kept him out Thursday. So it's a little unnerving because, you know, honestly, that quarterback's shoulder's got to be good. And, you know, I think it will be, but you know, none of this is going to matter until September the 8th. It really isn't.
You think if Andrew Luck would have thrown left-handed that we'd all forgotten about how he could throw right-handed, I guess.
Yeah,
that was something yesterday that was unique, I guess, right? A little bit unique.
No, it's very unique. And as I said, you know, the two, you know, the three worst words in Colts, you know, is quarterback sore shoulder.
It's legendary, Rick. It is.
That's terrible 3 words.
And the thing that you said, you always have to say that in sports, is if healthy. You say it about Pittman. You say it about Downs. Obviously, well, if healthy, this is the plan, but the plan doesn't always live up to that expectation. And that's where you find that depth is so important. The Colts had good depth last year. You're fooling yourself if you think they're going to go out there with their starting 22 week 1 and they'll all be playing week 17. It's about how teams adjust. Like, look what the Browns did. Unbelievable what the Browns went through last year, injury-wise, led by Joe Flacco.
And Flacco did for them what Minshew did for us.
Yeah.
And what Moss did for us.
Right.
I mean, that's a forgotten guy. Moss stepped in there when Taylor was out. And he was a big-time player. You're absolutely right, Chris. The team you start with on September 1st is never going to be the team you're playing with on January 1st. It's just a physical game of attrition. There's no doubt about it. And what you always hope is that you don't lose a game changer.
Yeah, and for how long?
Some positions.
Can you tread water for a couple games? You can't have the dreaded season-ending situation.
High-value positions are high value for a reason. Sometimes you can patch it up. We lost Nelson a couple years ago. We patched it up. You didn't notice it so much. We lost the nose tackle, Stewart, last year for 6 games. We couldn't stop a nosebleed. For 6 weeks. For 6 weeks. And to refer to your last question, we didn't make one adjustment in that 6 weeks to his loss.
You're so passionate.
And I'll leave that out there for people to digest.
Go ahead, love that too. Yes, there's no doubt.
Well, you're so passionate about football, obviously. Do you get excited? Do you watch the NBA Finals? Will you watch the Stanley Cup Final? Or are you just locked in all football? I don't care about the rest.
I have a narrow portfolio. I love the NBA.
Yeah.
I love the NBA. I follow the Pacers hard. Watched the game last night. Love the finals. Love the horses. Okay. I help support. Who's your part?
Give me a pick for tomorrow. I need one.
I'm going to go with Mystic Dan.
Mystic Dan.
Yeah. I mean, I just love McPeak. He's a grinder.
Well, hell, just have the conversation.
I mean, he's in there. I always I don't go exotic. I like a winner and a show. So I'm trying to figure out between Antiquarium and what's the horse that Luis Saez is riding tomorrow? He's 15-1. I can't think of it right now.
I like to go across the board to kind of hedge my bets, and that's what I did with Sierra Leone and the Derby. And I actually had money on Mystic Dan only to win. So when that thing came through, I was getting paid on all sides of it. It's amazing how, and they'll have experts you know, talking heads like us will go out there before the race and they'll say, you're going to want to go this. And it's, don't ever listen to those people. It's never that.
Never.
Because you're like,
Draw a name out of the hat. That's how I won.
This guy seems so convinced it's going to be the 5-7 exacta. Dead last. Here comes 5 and 7.
And you know what? I approach it, and my wife just laughs at me. She goes out, watches them jog. Oh, I'll take that one. I like the purple. I approach it like I do football. I mean, I know the pedigree when I go out there. I mean, and that's part of the fun of it, whether I win or lose. Then the other two things, believe it or not, I really like. You know, I really like the College World Series.
Oh yeah.
Based on my Louisiana background. And believe it or not, I've become a big fan of the Tour de France.
Wow. Okay.
Because it's my downtime.
Right.
I can watch it.
Yeah.
I'm a bicyclist. With my bad knees, I become a bicyclist for fitness. Kind of follow it.
It's awesome that you find things that any type of human competition I enjoy.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's always there's a strategy there. You look at that racing form and you're like, well, last time out there, he was closing strong. I feel like this time this race is a little longer, and there's a little difference this year to the race. That they're not running it on the home track.
Right. It's at
gonna be
Saratoga.
it's going to be a different length too. So that all factors into it as well.
Oh, big time. I mean, there are horses that might not even be running if they were at Belmont.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's Chris Hagan, Fox 59.
He forgot my name.
Rick
Coach.
Venturi.
Literally forgot my name.
I was going to say Rick, and I pointed at you. Rick Venturi is here. Lindsay Monroe, Gina Galeros of Channel 13. I'm JMV. Again, on the back deck here, Morse Reservoir at Wolfies with Deep Eddy Vodka. And my man Jim Romanek is over there. Scott Wolf, by the way, is the owner. Scott and Nyla, thank you very much. Romanek has got your samples. And Matt over here from AAA Hoosier Motor Club. Sign up. We've got Kenny Chesney tickets to give away before we're out of here. I'm sitting downwind of Gina, by the way, too. It's like I'm in Von Mar right now or something. It's like it's the Chanel number 5. The Chanel number 5 is coming straight at me. There's Kevin Kahlo in the house, too.
Hello, Kahlo.
That's banged up Kevin Kahlo behind Rick Venturi right there.
Will he be ready for the regular season?
I don't know, man. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a banged up Kevin Kahlo. Hey, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, when you go in to buy your fragrance, do you know what you want right away, or do you have to go and kind of do some sniffing, some testing?
Oh,
do you sniff around, Gina?
I do. I sniff around. I have an idea, but then I usually go down a rabbit hole, and I'm there 3 hours later. I still don't know what I'm doing.
Well, they give you did you ever do this? They give you the coffee to smell.
Beans. It doesn't work. After you spray like a couple of things, it all runs together. So I usually try to stick to, that's better. The wind is rough out here.
Well, it's rough. If Lindsay would have forecasted it.
Lindsay.
One time I was in there to get
Did you say if Lindsay would have forecasted it? We'd know.
Well, I was doing the thing where I smelled the fragrance, then they gave me the coffee smell, and I said, this smells great. Can I get this? And the lady didn't think that was funny. I was like, I like this smell. Let me have one of those.
I've never heard that before.
She went, what? I go, just give me the stupid.
Well, I'm glad it's working because I had a came from work, and I'm like, I'll just better spread something on here before I come see you guys. So
you are incredibly late today.
I am a little bit
did notice that. So what do we have some kind of big story?
You know what? No, I started the morning off a little bit early and got switched a couple of times on my story. So
what story did you end up doing?
That's none of your business.
Actually, a preview for the Pride Festival tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes,
gotcha.
I had a story set up. We shot it, and my management said, okay, let's wait. Let's hold that. Got it. Pride Festival's more pressing, timely. Let's go shoot that. So we kind of, the editing process and the writing takes some time. So here I am, a little bit late.
Could they not come out and shoot this? Could you do a story on this?
We can make it happen.
Yes. I mean, Rick would be a great story. You're just the host of the show, getting out here, getting hammered, talking whatever.
Yeah.
On the back deck, right, Rick?
Ask the boss.
Our sports guy's on the beach right now. Do you see Dom's pictures?
No.
Yeah, he's on vacation. He's getting a little window to get out of here for a little bit before the swim trials start up.
Yeah.
At the Final Four, Dom tried to steal a basketball from the media lounge, and they caught him, and he had to give it.
Who's Dom?
Dom, he's our new sports reporter, Dominic Miranda. He's pretty. I mean, he's
good.
I just know
he's been there about a year.
Yeah.
Now I may or may not have told him he could leave with the basketball from the media lounge.
You're bad.
I've got a warrant. I don't trust those old sports guys.
Dom is solid, though. He's done a lot in his 1 year with the station.
Well, this is the perfect town to be in to do sports.
Is his name Miranda?
I mean,
That's his last name.
Oh, wow.
Miranda, yeah.
You never, as Coach can attest, I like to think that yesterday is the end of the sports calendar. It'll pick back up when the Colts report to training camp. You go through all the basketball, the 500. So there's really not a downtime where you can just say, all right, there's nothing going on for a while. I mean, it's nonstop. It's one of the best sports towns in the country, I think.
Hagen, what's your favorite sport to cover?
To cover or to watch?
Cover.
I like covering football games.
Yeah.
Road football games are fun because it's fun if you see if the Colts go in there and they shut up this crowd of 80,000 people and they're so excited they're coming together. You go in that locker room and they're getting ready to go fly out. On the other side of that though, when you go into a losing road game locker room, I mean that is brutal.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to talk to you. They want to go catch the flight. They know the same stupid questions that are coming, but I mean, that's just part of the job. And hopefully you like to build up relationships over the years where they see you and they realize he's just doing his job. He's not trying to, we got you or make you look bad. And that's, good or bad, the fans want to hear. Well, why did you go for that 4th and 1 instead of taking the points?
Exactly.
You have to find that thing out.
Kyle Kadezovich is telling me that Dom used to be an intern of ours. I don't remember it.
Way to pay attention, John.
Yeah, no, I don't remember that.
John forgot the little people.
Hey, get us an Evansville, Tennessee update. Rick, on the other side, I got a question for you regarding safety. Right, now more than ever, safety. Is that cool?
That's cool, man.
It's Rick Venturi. It is Chris Hagan. It is Gina Galeros. It is Lindsey Monroe on JMV Back Deck. We are celebrating on this Friday, which is glorious, at Morse Reservoir at Wolfies. And Jim Romanek has got you covered over there with the samples. Deep Eddy Vodka brings us to you. Dave Matthews Band tickets I'll give away on the show coming up. You can sign up with AAA membership for Kenny Chesney tickets here live on the Back Deck at Wolfies as well. Morse Reservoir back with the more and a lot more NFL conversation and an Evansville, Tennessee update.
8-5 Vols, top 7.
So they're down 3
They're
now.
hanging around.
That's
They're
trouble. Hanging around on the Purple Aces. That and more coming at you next.
The laundry room. For as long as I can remember,
What for?
He's got a knife.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, we are on our party deck tour. We're at Wolfies. Thanks to Scott Nyla for having us today. Jim Romanek is here with Deep Eddy Vodka. And your complimentary drinks. We're not talking about
They're
free
samples.
Complimentary. Courtesy of Jim Romanek and Deep Eddy Vodka. Gina Galeros, Lindsay Monroe, Rick Venturi, Chris Hagan. I'm JMV. Thank you for joining us. You get that complimentary, Galeros.
Complimentary.
Don't get me in trouble.
Tastings.
All
Never.
right? Last thing I need, some more trouble. I don't need any more trouble right now.
I'm back downwind from the fragrances, so
Rick Venturi is here as well. Steve's got a question. I'll get to Steve, James, in just a second at 239-1070. But, Rick, I want to ask you about safety. Safety with the Colts. I think now more than ever, it's glaring that they need a veteran presence there. So when do you do that? When do you pull the trigger?
Well, I don't know that I'm necessarily.
Hit his microphone right there. I don't see him. I don't hear him.
Oh, there you go. I'm
There
talking
he
to
is
my
there.
neck.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure I'm in that wagon that we have to have
Really?
a veteran
Okay.
safety. First of all, signing Blackman was huge. Blackman to me is not in as health. Of course, health has to be there. But if he plays 17 Sundays, I think he's pretty close to a Pro Bowler. I think he's a terrific player. I think he's smart. I think he's a playmaker. I think Cross has tremendous talent. I'm in the Cross camp. Now, I think it's incumbent on this coaching staff to get him ready to play. Enough already of, he's learning. No. He's ready to go. I watched him last Wednesday, the last play in team. They threw a ball from the middle of the field outside the numbers. I saw him break on it and go get it. I've seen those kinds of plays. I think they could also help him by taking some of the read coverages out that are indecisive. You've seen him and Juju blow coverages, and to me that's because there's a read coverage that I don't particularly care for, and it leads to indecisiveness. Then you have Thomas as a backup, Harrison as a swing guy, and then probably somebody like Denbo as a special teams player. So I'm not as critically worried about that spot as I am our corners holding up 17 Sundays.
yeah, the best ability is availability. And then you also talk about you don't want to put guys in distress in either or situations that they're not prepared for, because that's when you can really look bad.
That's exactly right. And good coaches really, they know what their strengths are, what their liabilities are, and they do everything possible to protect liabilities and to improve their strengths, and to put guys, we always used to say, never put a guy in position where he's going to fail or where he's going to struggle, and that's not that hard to do. You got to, that's why you can't be tied in the NFL to a system, okay? You have to be able to adapt not only to given people, but week after week after week, you have to be game specific.
Go ahead, Lindsay.
One position I feel like we haven't really talked about is running back.
Good question.
How are we looking?
No. Now, I worry about that. I think that's the $64,000 question.
Yes.
I brought it up to the higher ups the other day because, again, going back to one of my earlier statements, JT is phenomenal. JT is tremendous football player. Ambien, you know what I mean by Ambien player. He's an Ambien top flight. If he's not one, he's two. Great player. But when he goes out, Moss played great for us a year ago. So we ended up with a bargain as a number 2. Right now it's Committee, it's Sermon, it's Goodson, it's the kid from Northwestern, but no one who is an established all-purpose running back. So I think that's a huge question, and that's a position where I think you might, at the last cut date, may be able to come up with a veteran who's a bit of a cap problem, or maybe it's just become a part-time player.
I feel like a lot of the conversation around this time last year is the running back position losing relevance just because of the injury potential, and they weren't going to pay them as much. And there was a lot of questions. Then obviously we signed JT, and it's like kind of that question went to the wayside. But that really hasn't been brought up this offseason. Do you think that's still something that is an issue?
No, I think it is an issue. And I think if you go back to the JT signing, Ballard looks pretty sharp on that.
Yeah.
I mean, really, to sign him for $13 million, and they just now on the other side of the argument, the kid from San Francisco,
Trey Sermon?
McCaffrey.
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the former San Francisco guy. Yeah.
McCaffrey just goes to $20 million.
Right.
So, I think that's always going to be on an individual basis, and what that team needs are. Right now, receivers are going off the charts, much less quarterbacks. I mean, that's why it's so important for us to be a champion or to be a contender while Richardson's still on this rookie contract.
Yeah.
Because by the time he gets there, you're going to be looking at $250 million.
He's either going to be a guy you don't want to pay because he hasn't done anything, or you're going to have to pay a dump truck full of money because he's been successful.
Yeah, and let's hope to God that we have to pay him. I mean, that's all we need is to have that be a bust.
All right, 239-1070 is the number. Rick Venturi with us, with Gina, Lindsay, Chris. I'm John. Steve is at 239-1070 right now. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. Appreciate having me to take a quick call.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Glad where everybody's enjoying the sunshine. Maybe Lindsay could put her left hand up and shake it at everybody and show off that thing she's got on her left finger there, left hand there.
Thank you, Josh.
I mentioned that a little bit earlier. Josh did a hell of a job on that, let's just say.
Man.
Don't let that catch the light like that at that angle. It's like looking at the eclipse. I'm going to burn my eyeballs out.
Did you save your glasses?
Go ahead, Steve.
Watching the weather anymore is the bright lights. You almost can't see the screen for that ring, But congratulations.
I like this guy. Thank you so much.
I was wondering if Rick might also just briefly speak to the tight end position and what we're going to do with Slow-Mo, Allie Cox, and if we're going to ever get Jelani to come through for us. So I appreciate you taking the call, and you all have a good night.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, another good question. Right now, we have a solid tight end room. We have a lot of guys that do certain things well. We have no one who gives you that Kelsey, that a guy that can do it all. You don't have that one star, but you have kind of a busload of guys that can do things. I will say this, that Jelani has looked really good in the minicamp and in the OTAs. He has looked a little bit closer to what we expected. I mean, he's been able to get vertical. I know he can block the edge. And so I think he has a chance to break out. Granson's always going to be kind of that specialist, that H-back, that's kind of a hybrid fullback. There's no doubt about it. But I think keep your eye on Jelani. He looks like that he's ready to break out. And I'll be honest with you, and he's overcome some things here lately. He hasn't been as productive in the minicamp, and that doesn't mean that much. But I thought 2 years ago, when Jelani and Ogletree were rookies, I felt like they both had chances to be really good, and I actually thought Ogletree would be the more complete one before he hurt himself. So, yeah, that's going to be a really good position to watch. It really is, because that will be competitive.
That's such a dynamic position nowadays in the league, and that brings me to my other question. It's about Dallas Clark. He's going into the Ring of Honor, and we were discussing in the sports department, do you feel like you have to put a guy in the Ring of Honor every single year? Does that dilute the idea of being in the Ring of Honor if you just start like, hey, now we got to get the trainer, we got to get the long snapper in, we don't have anybody this year. What is the worth you put on the Ring of Honor? Obviously, I feel Dallas is deserving, but does this need to be a guaranteed once-a-year deal?
No, I think it's a once-a-year thing. Don't you, Rick? At this point now? I mean, if that's what you're looking for, you've kind of made it that way. It has to be.
And I think particularly because from the Colts historically, you had that one phenomenal run.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, in a 14-year period, you're fourth in the league in winning percentage. And all those guys that are going in were critical.
Was it the quartile, JMV? Was it the top quartile?
Yeah, that's what Jim was talking about, that quartile, the quartile.
I do think that the Hall of Fame is getting watered.
Right.
And maybe it's just because the modern day guy now is the guy I defensed or played against, and he didn't scare me that much.
Right.
You know.
Is Hall of Fame, I mean, people talk about Bob Sanders all the time to me about he should have been a Hall of Famer. Are we talking about you're celebrating the longevity of a career being pretty good, or do you celebrate maybe a burst of lightning that was really good, the best at the game for 3 or 4 years?
We celebrate the burst of lightning now more than ever.
I think we do. I don't necessarily agree with it. You know, I think, first of all, when I look at a Hall of Famer, I have a tougher set of criteria.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, when I look at a Hall of Famer, it's somebody that I've played against. That guy, that particular guy, had to make me change my scheme to stop it. He had to be what I call
a disruptor, like
the
that, an ambient guy.
The ambient guy that kept me awake at night. Marshall Faulk was that guy. You know, Barry Sanders was that guy. Randy Moss was that guy. You know, Harrison was that guy. You know, I mean, I've had a couple tackles. Willie Rofe was that guy.
Dwight Freeney, that guy?
Dwight Freeney is that guy. I mean, when you played against the Colts and you played Freeney and Mathis, I remember talking to Belichick. Even when I wasn't with him, we would compare notes, and he would get ready to come to Indianapolis to play on that old fast, hard turf with that noise in the old Hoosier Dome. And he used to tell me, Rick, I'm not going to let Freeney and Mathis beat us, no matter what. If I got to keep 10 in, I'm not going to. And it's that kind of impact that when you're a coach and you're in that game plan, that guy affects me. He keeps me up nights. I got to take an Ambien to go to sleep.
Did you know that Marshall Faulk is the first player drafted as an Indianapolis Colt to make the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And I asked him one time, I said, it was when we were doing the statue for Peyton Manning, and I said to Marshall, we're back in the green room, just whatever, and I go, hey, do you know who the first player drafted as an Indianapolis Colt to make the Hall of Fame? And he goes, me. And I was like,
yeah,
yes.
Oh, he knew.
He would know. Sure. He is one of the smartest. He's a New Orleans kid.
Right.
Grew up in the Desire Project. He's one of the smartest players ever to play in this league. And where I really came up against him was not so much with the Colts. We played them once, and we actually beat them in Peyton's rookie year here. Never touched him again, but beat him that rookie year. But where I had the challenge was when I was a defensive coordinator at New Orleans, and we were in the division with the Rams, the greatest show on turf. And you had Isaac Bruce on this side, you know, Torrey Holt on this side, you know, Azakeem over here. And now, okay, all right, and now defense Marshall coming out of the backfield. Yeah. And Martz's offense was dynamic. I mean, it was, you want to talk, that's one of my late nights now.
So Rick Venturi right there. BTR is at 239-1070. BTR, what's your question?
Hey, JMV. Congratulations once again on the dual spoke show that is Gina and Lindsay.
I have everything to do with that.
I'm
yes.
here too. I'm here.
Why we're here.
I have a coach or a question for Coach. Fitting for your location, who is his player besides Mitchell who would be the Morse Reservoir All-Star?
Oh, good question. Good question. It might be, okay. Now, remember, Morse Reservoir All-Star guy has to be under the radar.
Yeah.
Okay? Can't be a high draft pick. It might be Gould. It might be the little guy redrafted out of Oregon State.
How about Tutsi, who got injured, but how was he looking? Safety.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Gould, because here's the reason I say Gould. I think Gould's going to be our kickoff and punt return guy. He is extremely fast at 4.39. I watch him all week. He catches punts easy, doesn't grind coffee to catch them. No, he just, you know, he's really smooth. And I think with the new kickoff rule, I think that's going to change the game a little bit on the kickoff. I think it's going to make that guy more valuable. He's diminutive, but he has that great speed, and I think he might be the guy that we're not talking about. And that's what a Morse Reservoir All-Star is somebody you're not talking about who ends up, being pretty good.
I have a interesting, and thank you, BTR, for the call and the question. Matt Gay was on with me Wednesday.
I heard him, yeah.
And I want to ask you about that coming up on the other side. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Rick Venturi, Chris Hagan, Lindsey Monroe, and Gina Glaros with us. Back deck. We're at Wolfies with Deep Eddy Vodka, and the complimentary drinks are flowing here on the back deck. Thank you all for joining us. Again, AAA membership, Matt and Matt have your opportunity at Kenny Chesney tickets. Now on the air, Dave Matthews Band, the 28th of this month, the first of 2 at Ruoff Music Center. Give you a chance here on the air to win those coming up in just a second. Meantime, hang tight. We'll come back with that question and more of us. We go until 6:20 tonight on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We're the Hellsberg Wedding Band, and this is for the lovers out there.
The Ride with JMV.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, everybody, we are back here on the back deck. Thank you with Deep Eddy Vodka bringing us to you at Wolfies. We're on Morse Reservoir. This is Dave Matthews Band. Trails coming a long, long time. 28th of June, that's the first of two at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. Dave Matthews Band tickets, number 9 at 239-1070. He can win those.
Hey, shout out to Dave Benner, the late, great Dave Benner.
Love a Sky Point to Dave Benner.
His brother, Bill Benner, they would go to every show, both shows, every show. He would say, well, they're all different. I go, you just saw them last night. Well, they're different. So,
yes, and he was right.
You know what? My parents, we own a family business, okay, for 20 years.
Can you tell them who they are?
Handles homemade ice cream.
Do you believe her parents own Handles?
Yeah.
What about those complimentary samples? Where was that?
Do they make good s'more ice cream there?
They do.
I love s'more.
Graham ice
do they
cream,
have
marshmallow
banana pudding?
ripple, banana cream pie. We call it
Butter pecan.
But, so most of our employees are young kids.
Right.
My dad does not like Dave Matthews.
Everybody calls him sick or leaves.
In high school, they would come for 3 nights. The kids would request off. He's like, who's going to run my stores? Everybody's off for this Dave Matthews Band.
Gina, get in there.
Gina.
Get to scooping.
Yeah, get in there.
How many Handles locations do you guys have?
So we have 3 on the north side. So Carmel, and then Fishers, Noblesville. My aunt and uncle, they have one in Greenwood.
Down near me on 135.
Yeah. And actually, we're getting ready to open. We just signed a contract for 3 more stores. So
oh my gosh.
The next one, we're looking at a spot in Zionsville. So we just talked to the developer, and it's going to be a similar concept as like the Yard and Fishers. They're going to be doing Lynn's, you know that.
That's my jam.
So like Torchy's and all these restaurants, and we're going to have an end capped, if everything goes according to plan.
You know,
we're going to have
for
an end cap
that
there.
free plug, John, I think you and I get gold cards.
No question about that.
Whenever we want.
No doubt.
I'm sorry.
Smells good and free ice cream. I love it.
By the way, John, June 28th, you mentioned the Dave show. That'll be the 10-year anniversary of my near-fatal head injury.
Yeah, the LH incident right there.
What?
We'll do another show on that day, on that Friday.
Hey, Rick, have you ever heard of the Larry Hawley incident right there?
Y'all got to say his name.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. People know who he is. We've told the story before.
We didn't say the name.
He got sideswiped by Larry Hawley once upon a time.
Let's go ahead and send out a flyer.
And he almost bought it right there on the field, Rick. Seriously. Right there on the field. Almost bought it.
And now look at me.
And now he's. That's Chris Hagan. It's Rick Venturi. We've got Gina Galeros. We've got Lindsay Monroe. I'm John here at Wolfies. We're on Morse Reservoir. Hey, Rick, I did bring up this before. I know you have to bail here at 6 o'clock. And Matt Gay, the place kicker, that was the big free agency deal last year, remember? He hit the upright 6 times, had one of the lower completion percentages, makes percentages in the NFL. Now, many of those were missed from 50. How do you judge what he did a year ago compared to what they got and how much they paid for him?
Like Maverick said in the movie, one of life's mysteries. I mean, we're up in the booth and we're just shaking our head. I mean, there's no.
It's like he meant to hit these uprights.
I mean, the biggest splash, because we don't make splashes here. We don't, we very seldom partake in free agency. And, here's what I'm hoping. I think the good side will definitely come back. A kicker is like a golfer, a pool player. It's such a fine skill, and so much pressure was put on him. I mean, you're making you're the highest paid kicker in the league, and you're going to feel that.
Yeah.
And all it takes is just a millimeter to be off, and I think he'll spit that out. I think that'll be behind him now. It's like that's over. We're going on. We're talking about AR5. We're talking about
it wasn't good.
Everybody else. No, it
was not good.
I mean, we kept shaking our head. It was like, this just happens to the Colts.
You ever seen anybody hit the upright 6 times in a season?
I heard him talking to you. I actually heard the interview. I mean, he was actually funny about it.
He was funny about it, yeah.
But, I mean, we just kept shaking our head up there like, my goodness.
But it's like you said, like putting. It's 90% of it's half mental.
Oh, yeah, and you know how you're tight, you're over that, you know.
That's a Yogi Berra.
All right, Yogi. All right,
subject.
Yogi.
Someday,
All right, you got
you got to
it.
get.
I was doing the math in my head.
He got us.
I slid that in there. Everybody's like, "What?"
I'm all intense here, you know.
One time, you got to get Coach to talk about that mid-'90s Cleveland Browns staff he was on.
Yeah. I'll talk about it.
Belichick and Ferenc. Because that I saw a documentary about
is
that.
awesome.
It was amazing.
I'll push the envelope here. Grandson can wait for a while. His
birthday, right,
13th birthday today. He's a teenager. Great athlete, incidentally. But the 95 staff is perhaps the greatest staff in the history of pro football. I was privileged, okay? I sat between Nick Saban and Bill Belichick for 18 weeks. I was a defensive backfield coach. Nick was the coordinator. Bill was the head coach. Now think about that. I mean,
I'm overwhelmed.
Probably the greatest
How cool.
pro coach, and definitely the greatest college coach of all times. And this was before they were. I always call it BI, before they were icons. This was back in Cleveland, and we were kind of equal in throwing the game plans together. But I mean, we had Kirk Ferentz was the offensive line coach.
Mangini, was he on that?
Yeah. We had 5 interns. Okay, you might have to help me with the name. 5 interns. Okay, Jimmy Schwartz was an intern.
Yep.
The defensive, eventually head coach of the Lions and now the Cleveland Browns. Eric Mangini.
Yep.
Mangini's first job was my ball boy.
He was, and he was
as God is my judge.
He was on an episode of The Sopranos too, for God's sake.
If you ask Eric, he'll say it with pride. I was Rick's ball boy in '95.
Wow. And
he goes on to be the head coach of the Jets. He's in the media now doing stuff. Dimitrov was with the Falcons.
Thomas Dimitrov.
Forever and ever. He used to cut grass during the day and come in and watch tape at night.
Wow.
Let me think. Let me keep going. Mike Tannenbaum, who you see on ESPN. You know, Iron Mike was with me at Cleveland, and he was with me at New Orleans. Scott Paoli, who was the general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now these guys lived. When you worked for Belichick, it was not easy. He's not for anyone.
Yeah.
They lived in a dorm. He had beds for them. He fed them at the complex and didn't even pay them. Now, all 5 guys went to the top. And to Bill's credit, the one thing he does do is he always promoted from within. But it was one of the greatest think tanks of all times. And we actually, Saban and Belichick together had not had a winning season in the first 3 years, and I went there in '94. Not that I made the difference, but we had our first winning season.
Sir, take the credit.
11-5, won the first wild card game against Parcells, and then lost to our nemesis, the Steelers, in the division round. Belichick's first winning season.
Coach goes from between Saban and Belichick to between me and JMV.
Yeah,
he's
very
really
special.
fallen.
Hey, buddy, you're the best, man. You know that you are. That's Rick Venturi, everybody, right here. Wolfies at Morse. Thank you, Rick. We'll come back. Matt's going to rejoin us from AAA. We've got some tickets to give away. We'll talk about that. Lindsay, Gina, Chris.
You too.
I'm John. We'll hang in there. A little after 6 stuff going on here. Morse Reservoir with Deep Eddy Vodka. We're live here in Noblesville at Wolfies on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why.
HD2, HD3, Indianapolis.
The Ride with JMV.
Hans, Bobby, I'm your white knight.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, this has been a great day. Is Scott Wolf still here? Scott Wolf, great time here at Morse Reservoir. Wolfies, Deep Eddy Vodka, again bringing us to you on the back deck. It is our party deck going on right now. A little anything goes coming at you. Thanks to Rick Venturi, who hung out for a long time with us today. Chris Hagan is here. Jim Romanek rejoins. We got our awesome ladies from Channel 13, Lindsay Monroe and Gina Glaros with us as well. And rejoining us is Matt Goins of AAA membership. How you doing, Matt?
Doing well, thank you.
Have you had a good time here today?
Wonderful.
Fantastic. Now, we got a couple of things. We're giving away tickets to go see Kenny Chesney, but I did want to remind people, has Sean already picked up the cooler, Chris? Sean Nolan is the winner of the cooler. Is Sean Nolan somewhere? Sean Nolan. Hey, I don't even have that. That's a damn stool right there. That's a cooler and a stool. You're a great man. Shay, right back at you. Sean Nolan is the winner right there of the stooler, or the cool stool, or whatever that is. Right. I love it, though. And Matt is here because we have tickets to give away for Kenny Chesney. Now, explain how AAA has that partnership with Ruoff this summer.
Great deal with Ruoff and Live Nation. You get in early with the AAA Fast Pass as long as you can show your membership. Hang out in the AAA lounge, go to the show, hang out on the AAA party deck for Kenny Chesney. It's going to be a great night.
When is that, by the way?
June 20th? Yeah.
Hell, that's coming up here pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
I think we all need to go. We'll get the girls to go. And Hagan, would you go?
I wonder if Peyton Manning will show up.
I told Matt not to let me on because I'll give tickets to everybody.
Okay.
Does Chesney not wear shoes when he goes on? Is that the thing? Or
no shirt, no shoes, no problems.
Yeah.
I will have shoes on.
Okay, and talk about, again, your partnership you have with Ruoff, and I think Live Nation as well as a part of that as well, right?
So throughout the year, you know, the greatest thing about the partnership is we get to let people know that it's more about roadside service. Roadside service is always a cornerstone of what we're going to do, but we're about providing these experiences for our members. You know, one of these is giving away tickets to as many concerts as we can go to. There's some other partnerships around town. You know, we have a new startup business called My Pit Crew. If you have time, I'll give away a set of tires if someone can show me a AAA membership card on this day.
Oh, well, right here, right now?
Right here, right now.
Hey, who has a AAA membership card?
AAA membership card,
right
you
there.
get a set of tires.
My God, I need some damn tires.
You just got to show me. We'll come to your house. We'll change them. We'll take care of it.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm going to get where's my damn wallet here? Holy Chris, son of a gun.
Okay. You mind if I take a picture of this and I'll get you set up? Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
We're going to send Pit Crew right to his house.
He's had too many of the complimentary samples. He's giving out tires here.
No,
look, you beat me to it.
Look.
Son of a gun, I need tires right now.
I think we already replaced your tires on that Toyota.
You did back in January after a flock of seagulls.
Would the ultimate,
congratulations.
Look at that. Yeah. Would the ultimate crossover
Thank
be
you for being a member.
If somebody had come out from the concert in the AAA parking and had a flat tire, would that be the ultimate crossover promotion right there?
That would be the ultimate crossover promotion. We're working on that as we speak.
Y'all should go puncture a couple tires while they're in the show. Then you come out and everybody sees you performing the service, and they're like,
that's a great promotional plan you got working.
You know, we take care of about 200,000 roadside events a year.
Wow.
Just in the Indy Metro and the Hoosier territory.
And you know what? To be serious for a second is that can be dangerous if you just try to get out and be a hero, taking care of your own problems you have on the side of the road. These days, so many distracted drivers, and so it's good to have that peace of mind. Folks just pick up the phone, and there you are.
Yeah, every time I drive by someone on 465 and they're laying halfway out in the road, I think $87 a year will do that for you.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Now, how long have you been at the helm?
I've 6 months now. I've been president and CEO. It's been an experience. Yeah.
How does one become president and CEO of AAA? How's that happen?
You know, I wish I could give you a detailed explanation. It would take too long. But
where'd you go to college?
I took a non-traditional route, so I was online. I worked my way up through another company, and
that's what I'm doing with Blake. Blake's taking some courses before I turned him loose at Indiana State, so he acts like me and jackasses around for like 5 years.
You know, I count my blessings every day. A Southern Indiana kid that is working.
That's awesome.
Working for a few hundred people. And
well, you're from a good place because North Vernon's awesome. That whole area over there around Jennings County is awesome. Seymour, Jennings County, obviously Seymour, North Vernon in Columbus.
In
Great
Columbus.
area.
Yeah.
And with those pipes, you can tell he's got a little radio background.
I was pissy about that a little bit earlier.
I did have a little skit on a radio station in southern Indiana. We called it Get Going with Goins.
Did you really?
Yeah,
what station was that?
QMix 107.3.
I know exactly what QMix is.
Yeah.
So I will, I got to go down to Bloomington a little bit later on tonight, and I'm going to dial in. It used to be Win 106 WINN.
Yeah.
Now it's The River out of Columbus. I think it's 106.1 The River. And they do a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, the small town local radio stations, especially in the state of Indiana, was really good. I think really good.
I think that station was one of the best for a long time. You know, but it's not you. You are on the Mount Rushmore.
No,
in,
I am
in my
far
opinion.
from it. Right.
I think there's a lot of people here that would agree with that.
Then I bring out Gina, and then she announces that her parents own handles, and then everybody goes crazy.
Right. No, we did lose focus there for a second.
No, we did.
Yeah.
Didn't we? No, man, it is awesome. So, Kenny Chesney tickets.
We've got a winner.
Okay, who you got there, Matt?
We have Derek White.
Derek White is good. Derek
White.
know Derek very well.
Yeah.
Derek is a P1 listener.
Whoa. He's an Ole Miss guy. Get him out of here.
Great job.
Derek is going to go see Kenny Chesney.
The only thing I need you to add is your cell phone number.
That is well done right
People
there.
really do win.
Yes.
People
Thanks
really
to
do
AAA
win.
and JMV.
Well, I think we need to do this all the time.
Okay.
And I'll set the stage for it because Jim Romanek is here. Deep Eddy Vodka and Heaven Hill Distillery. We have another party deck excursion on a Friday coming up next Friday, right?
Correct.
And we can bring AAA back out with us and do this again. What we got? Where are we going?
At the Mucky Duck on Southport.
You got it.
You need to come, please.
The Mucky Duck, yeah.
Yeah, the Mucky Duck. I'm sure you've been seeing that deck before.
I will send Matt on my behalf. I'm going to be out of town traveling, but
no,
we'll
have to do that again. That's at 65 and Southport Road.
Yep.
That's the Todd Johnson place down there. We're a big fan of Todd. I think Todd's in Australia right now.
He is,
from what I have heard. But
it's one of those places.
It is a great place.
Whenever John, he always announces where we are when he comes back from break, and as the day goes on down there, I have a fun time watching him struggle more and more not to say something wrong on TV.
Yeah, exactly. I just start
Mucky Duck.
I start fading away a little bit right there.
Hagen, just don't schedule him for a Friday night appearance.
Exactly. That's
so Mucky Duck Friday, correct?
Yes, Mucky Duck on Friday, 3 o'clock.
Awesome.
It's gonna be phenomenal. And yes, please come on down. You guys are always
bring in
welcome.
all the temptation too, so you make it a lot of fun.
I mean, I got all the Deep Eddy down there. The whole lineup's gonna be there. Everybody needs to come. I've told these lovely ladies that they are more than welcome to come back down. I mean, you don't need me on the show. I got a face for radio.
Did I hear that? Do we have excise listening today?
Allegedly.
Can I say that? Allegedly? Am I allowed to say it? I don't care. I want everybody to listen, excise or not.
Complimentary?
Complimentary,
Sure.
yes.
Complimentary.
They changed up my terminology on the fly there today.
Correct.
See, sometimes you're just going to learn stuff.
I may have gotten a phone call. Insider information. I'm just trying to help you out.
That's the first time since 1991 that I've had a call from excise right there. That's me feel good.
Well, my 3 times a week's better than yours, one from 1991.
It is. Hey, man, thanks for everything.
I appreciate you, brother.
Jim Romanek right there. Deep Eddy Vodka, again, they are the proud sponsor of our Party Deck Tours. Mucky Duck next Friday.
It's going to be fun.
Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate
brother.
it. You're lovely. Sarah, tell her I said hello.
Oh, the lovely Sarah's been texting. Want to know
You
where
got
I'm
it,
at.
buddy. Thank you, Jimmy. Jim Romanek right there. Matt Goins here of AAA membership as well. Hey, remind people how they can sign up with you and get all these great deals for Ruoff.
The best way is go to AAA.com, sign up for a membership right there. We have 3 different levels depending on your need, but all of them get you the same benefits. And, I think what Matt's doing a really fantastic job of just spreading the word on everything that you get with your membership. Again, it's more than just roadside service. So.
I can't believe you just gave away tires to this dude out here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
God dang.
Yeah, people.
Great.
People don't know. We'll come right to your house, order the tires online, deliver them.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that, right to your place. You don't have to do anything whatsoever.
No.
It's awesome.
No, we are literally the best deal in business right now.
Are you out next week? You're on the road.
I am on the road.
All right, on the road. We'll get Matt Godbout to join us coming up next week. But, man, thanks for everything you do,
thank
man.
you. I appreciate it.
It's great, and what you do is great. I cannot wait to get out to Ruoff. We're going to go. We're going to bring look at a little wind gust right there. We're going to bring the girls out, too, so it is going to be spectacular.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you
Matt
so
Goins
much.
right there, AAA membership. Thank you, Matt, as well. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll come back we do have to bail here about 20 after. Hagan, anything as far as Evansville, Tennessee is concerned?
11-6. I think that's just gone final Vols.
Yeah.
So Evansville will have to try to win 2 straight.
That's going to be
the number 1 team
pretty difficult. So, listen, they can score, and we know that. But the whole pitching thing, it's just a different level, is it not?
Especially when you go the 3-day series against an SEC team that has much more depth and much more hitting. So that's a bad combination, but already a hell of a run for the Purple Aces.
Lindsay Monroe rejoins us right now at Channel 13. What's the weather look like this weekend?
It's off. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Little bit of a stray shower chance tomorrow. Little bit, mainly south of
Will we
here.
get sun at all?
More so on Sunday. I think tomorrow's going to be mainly cloudy.
Is it really? Not warm at all?
Like 74. So the average is 80 for this time of year, so we'll be a little below that tomorrow.
What about the wind chill factor tomorrow? What are we looking at?
No. Wind chills, nah.
What about the barometric pressure? How about that? What are we looking at?
It will be slightly lower.
That's what I figured.
Because we've got this little low pressure system coming in. So if you're like me and you get kind of achy joints when we get pressure systems that come in, that might be kind of a.
Is the hardest part about doing weather learning all the names of the counties and cities?
Well, no, I'm from here. I worked in Memphis, Tennessee before I worked here, and that was hard because I had never even been to Memphis before I took a job there. But back here at home, I mean, this is where I grew up. It's kind of like my backyard, so it's a little easier.
What's amazing about weather people is, and of course I watch Brian Wilkes, he'll get up there and just talk for like 4 minutes, and there's nothing in the prompter. He just starts talking.
Hey, once upon a time, Sean Ash.
I like this.
Sean Ash.
Sean Ash. Love
Your
Sean
colleague.
Ash. He's going to be with us. Actually, he's filling in for you this weekend.
He called Olytic down in Lawrence County Oolytic.
I was told it was Oolytic.
It is not Oolytic.
It sounds way cooler.
And then me and him went for a ride in my old Celica. That was, you used to always make fun of me and him.
The Celica, baby. Yeah, you got a lot of good mileage out of that bad boy.
Sure
Did you pick up some hot babes?
We picked up a lot of hot babes in the little red Celica. I've known Sean since he was in college at Western Kentucky.
Did you really?
Yeah, he's a good buddy.
Yeah, Sean's great. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
John would make fun of me in my car.
Your Celica.
It's, I guess Hagen's off for Sean Ash somewhere in his Celica.
Didn't you used to sing the song Riding Dirty? Isn't that thing all the time?
How does it go again, Hagen?
Riding
Gonna catch me riding dirty. Gonna catch me riding dirty.
You working this weekend at all? Sunday night?
Sunday.
With me?
You'll be on
I was with
Sunday.
Dave on Sunday. Where were you Sunday? I was with Dave.
I took my Memorial Day holiday on Sunday. I was wiped out from the Pacer travel and the 500, and it was almost like I had a real job there for a while. I couldn't handle it.
It's a lot of sports.
Gina Glaros here. You working tomorrow morning?
I am.
Man, they got you working a ton. What the hell?
She's on her 9-day
What's
stretch.
wrong with them?
On 9-day stretch. Tomorrow's Wednesday for me.
Oh, my gosh.
And then the next day's Wednesday.
That just
The following
completely.
is Wednesday.
I got 3 Wednesdays.
That rocks the world, though, a little bit, though.
It does. It keeps you humble. It keeps me out of trouble, too.
Yeah.
Other than hanging out with you guys.
But you got to go to bed at like 9 o'clock tonight?
Ideally.
She fell asleep a half hour ago, John.
Yeah.
Listen to this show.
That's the plan, but it never happens. So.
Now, Lindsay, you're on tomorrow morning, too?
I'm actually off
Sean
this
Ash
weekend.
is filling in.
Sean
She already
is
said that.
Yeah.
Oh, did she? I missed it.
I
I'm
believe
sorry.
we have some tennis on NBC, so we have some preempted shows.
Roland Garros.
So he only has a 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. newscast, so it's condensed. I'm like, of course, the weekend I get off for working a 7-day stretch. It's the condensed weekend.
Yeah,
schedule.
Sean called
I never
and
get
asked.
that.
Sean called too.
So that the
like,
French
do you have
Open
anything taped in French?
semifinals
Lindsay was
and
like,
finals?
Yep.
No, you don't have to tape anything. Congratulations, you got the best weekend schedule ever. So that's coming up this weekend.
So what time you go? 6 a.m. tomorrow?
Actually, tomorrow 7 to 9.
She just said that too, John. Thanks for listening.
Did you really?
Did anybody say
I'm not listening to anything
That's
right now.
okay.
That's horrible.
That's okay.
Okay, and you mentioned to me what you have, right? Sunday?
I'll be there Sunday, and we'll tape with you. We get a lot of feedback. Not all of it good, but a lot of feedback when you're on the show.
You they like the clothes I wear? Because I'm in my underwear.
I hear a lot about your clothes.
I
your
wear my
t-shirts.
underwear. Yeah, I'm in my underwear.
We need to get you like a professional-looking sports guy background instead of the fireplace.
You don't like the fireplace?
And the cat trying to take its own life, jumping off the ledge there.
That's
They have
Zeke.
9, so that's good.
Zeke, the P. Rick right there, man. Zeke. I don't know. Laney's cat, Zeke, did the old nosedive once upon a time. That was good. Did you like the video I put together with,
I did.
was it Fall Down by Toad the West Rocket,
yeah.
I think, too? So.
Hey, shout out. I wanted Blake to be here.
Yes.
He's got his graduation celebration tomorrow.
It does, down in Bloomington.
I'm sending a card your way, Blake, that I know you'll treasure for years to come.
Blake's a big fan of Hagen, man. He is.
Now he's taller than Hagen, which is not cool. But so I know we talked about this off air. It seems like just the other day you were saying that you guys were expecting, and now here this clown is graduating high school.
He is graduating high school.
Congratulations.
He is a good dude, though, too. So, yeah, I got to go home and get Lainey and 2 of her girlfriends.
Well, that'll
Take
be a
him
fun
down
trip.
there.
That'll be a fun trip.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Loaded up, though, ready to go. Hey, ladies, you want to do this again next Friday? You mind?
Well,
What do you
if 465 South opens, I will.
Yeah, well, Monkey Duck's not too far from where you guys are.
Yeah, we'll see.
Channel 13.
Where are we going? Well,
Monkey Duck on the south
Southport.
side? 65 in Southport? Glaros, you're all about that right
I'm
there. You
in.
got it.
South
But you
side.
got to get here earlier. You can't say you're going to be here and then
I'll
not
do
show
what
up.
I'll do what I can. I'll just try to get
I think
done
she's back
early.
at her morning show.
Yeah,
next
I'm
Friday.
good tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next Friday. I'm good next Friday. See, all the days are running together. I know.
Can we give a couple shout-outs real quick for some stuff coming
Shout-outs, go.
Okay, so the Fever are playing tonight. The
Yep.
2-9 Fever are playing the 0-10 Mystics. So
The
that's gonna be-
Washington Mystics
So
on
that's coming
Ion.
up at 7:30, and
Yep.
then they'll
On
be
Channel
back,
13.
Not tonight. They'll be
It's
back
on
on Channel
Ion
13 on
tonight.
Monday. I know we have a handful of games on
The
our
Fever,
network.
a 2.5-point road favorite against the winless Mystic.
That's it. Okay.
I'm just doing some accompaniment to your shtick.
I love the additional stuff. And then obviously the U.S. swimming trial is going to be huge for Indianapolis. They're going to start on the 15th, which is 1 week and 1 day from today. And of course, remember, they are building a 66-foot replica of the
Eiffel Tower.
Eiffel Tower
It's
on
going to be on Georgia
Street.
It's going to be so cool.
And so many other things, too.
Yeah, so obviously the pool, if you haven't checked it out yet, it's awesome. But Eiffel Tower on Georgia Street, I think that gets underway on Friday, the day before everything starts. And then there's like a swim-up bar, a ball pit, music, family-friendly all the
Georgia
activities.
Street?
On Georgia Street.
Yeah.
Like that ball pit on Georgia Street.
Yeah.
The swim-up bar is what I'm curious how
The
that's going to
swim-up
work.
bar.
Right in
You
front of
don't-
Hooters?
Yes.
So,
All right.
Big stuff.
Hey, you guys are awesome. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having us.
Lindsay. Thank you, Hagen. Devin. All right, everybody. Thank you, Scott Wolf. Thanks for having us. Romy. Deep Eddy Vodka as well. All of our guests today, Rick Venturi especially. Wolfies, man, enjoy the weekend up here on Morse Reservoir. I am back with you on Monday. No JMV takeover tomorrow night either. I'll be back with you on Monday on The Fan.
For those fortunate enough to help the person who has always been there.